This week's episode of the Co-optional Podcast is proudly sponsored by Squarespace. Get 10% off your first order at squarespace.com/cooptional. Create your own professional-looking website with no prior knowledge required at squarespace.com/cooptional. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-optional Podcast.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Oh,
Greetings.
hey.
Yes.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hey there. Hey there.
Hey.
It's a new year.
Hi.
It is a new year. Happy New Year, everybody.
Hey,
We did it. We made it.
On the same old bullshit show. No one's disagreeing with that.
No,
Nope.
not at
I was
all.
expecting, like, somebody to at least come up with something.
I mean, it wasn't
I
a
got
lie.
No. It wasn't. But, I mean, you could at least pretend. No?
No.
Not even going to try that?
No. I mean,
It's worth a
if
shot.
you want to
I guess.
open up the new year, great. Buy my sloth hoodies.
All right.
I mean,
So
sure.
We moved on from that.
Yeah. The first show of 2017. You're expecting greatness, no doubt, from us.
Listen, I need January ad revenue, all right? What better way than a sloth hoodie?
That's not ad revenue.
That's
though.
not ad revenue, dude. That's extra revenue.
Everything. Ad
That's
revenue, if you
merchandise
believe.
revenue. That's
Even Handley right now. New year, same Crendor.
doesn't even know what he's doing when it comes to running a business. Not a clue.
I bought a hat.
You did that.
No.
That looks far larger than it should be.
So silly.
Like,
But if you put it on over the headphones, it looks like one of those weird baseball player hats they wear for concussions or something. Like, next up is Jimbo Jones, and he's like, I'm not getting a head injury, but he's like, got this big ass hat.
We should all just take.
don't
a
they all
moment
wear
to-
helmets for that reason?
Well, they wear like normal helmets, like that.
So the normal helmets
What?
don't shield you from concussions.
Those ones do.
What's the point in them then?
I don't know.
I can't
You're the sports expert of the show, and you don't even know that.
Well, I take it it probably prevents some of the damage, but you know,
I just want someone to go back. Someone go back and take just Crendor's window and use that footage of him pulling it on and off, but with a voiceover for condom demonstration. And just put it all together because that's kind of what it looked like.
And then we
Yeah,
can
but-
distribute it to all of the schools for like a fun, safe sex.
yeah.
Yeah,
But why would you
Don't
take
pull
it
it
off?
too tight, right?
Why would you take it off though?
Why would you take it off? I mean, I can
I
think
feel
of a
like
few
it's an entirely
reasons.
different conversation, but I feel like we didn't have a different conversation.
Condoms, once they're on, don't ever take them
Don't
off.
take them off.
Ever.
Put
That's
another
how
one-
babies happen. You can't
Yeah.
take it off.
For any
You gotta
reason.
be safe. Don't take those things off. All right.
No reason whatsoever.
We're learning a lot about you today, Crendor, that I'm not okay with.
I would pay big
I'm
money
safe.
to see Crendor try and teach sex ed. That would be
Me
entertaining.
too.
I would
I would
would
take
pay
that
for that.
money.
I would pay for that to be a series. I want. Oh my god.
Would you pay for that to be a panel at CoxCon?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, please. I don't think they deserve it. You know, those Brits are dirty as shit. They would be like, condom, what? Dirty.
We get proper sex ed over there. Relatively early.
I did not.
I'm really surprised that Oregon state education isn't very progressive in that regard.
They thought that it was a better idea to build a nursery onto my high school instead of just
Wow.
teach us how to not have babies.
That's hilarious. I mean,
That's
it's
progressive.
okay.
Not even joking.
You've got to give them
Everybody.
some credit. That's relatively pragmatic of them. It's like, well, we know this is going to happen. We might as well prepare for it. Like, no. That's like saying, well, we know cholera is going to happen. Might as well build some more graveyards. But
Instead of put research into how to fix
but
cholera.
you could prevent it. No, it's going to happen. You just got to accept it. Cholera happens.
Color
Because
hats.
it's so rainy. All of the places where it rains all the time, people just like accept shit.
No, that's not true at all. We don't. Well, okay, a bit. Yes,
Just accept shit.
mostly yes. You're right. We will grumble about it. I'll say that. But
Oh,
you're
yeah,
probably
but-
correct.
I can't get over. Just Crendor is the least educated in the art of sex.
Crendors, masters of sex.
More
Oh
like.
my god, yes.
Jesus.
Masters of sex. Crendor, I want that to be a serious. I want you to sit down with like therapists and like, oh my god, all sorts of people and just have conversations, like real conversations.
Yeah. Usually I have fake conversations with them. But
That's true. I know that to be true.
yeah.
That's what you do with us every time you're on this podcast. You fake your way through every episode.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's like, do you play video games? Yeah. Which ones? I played several.
I play all of
I
them.
sure do. I play every game.
I play all
of
video
the games that
All
come out.
those games.
If you ask
Those
me about
things.
any video game, I've got an opinion on it because I've played it.
Hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
You could tell me about Europa Universalis 4, for instance.
I won that game.
What, as part of a giveaway, or...
Yeah.
Oh.
Hmm.
Welcome back, everybody. New year, baby.
Yes, indeed. And the
New year,
conclusion...
new us, except not really.
No,
Oh.
same old shit. And the conclusion of the co-opties, we sort of realized as we were going into this that we burned through a lot of our categories like 2 weeks ago. Well, mainly to have two award shows, two shows worth of awards. It's like, well, we kind of ran out of most of... We did a pretty good job of getting through an awful lot of those.
I think people will riot if we don't do boob physics.
I mean,
at the
we
very
should,
least.
yeah. That we totally should.
You know?
There were a few left, but it's fine. We can just spend time making shit up. That was kind of the plan anyway.
Mm.
So we can do that. I mean, I've got a few. Like, I don't think we talked about, like, we didn't do the Raddest soundtrack category. We didn't do game we forgot
I have a
even happened.
nomination for that.
Yeah, we've got Fuck It's More 16-bit Bullshit. That's a title we came up with. We have Best Boob Physics.
That's a good
We've got I'll Come Back to It When It's Finished. So we've got like 5 of them, and then we can make up the rest as we go along.
Could we make a category that's like best non-ironic armor for women?
I mean, if you want to be the one that fills that, because I don't have any nominations for it, sure.
Yeah, like Banner Saga 2. You know, like actual real armor people would wear.
Oh, right, that. Okay. I assumed like...
Not like nipple armor, not like yes, this is
So you-
protective.
So you mean, it's like a
Like
practical...
actual armor.
A title
Yeah.
in which we nominate games that have practical armor for women.
Yeah.
I mean, we could, if you want.
All I know is XCOM 2 probably would fit in there.
XCOM 2?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, by default,
You
have you
can.
have you seen the, like, Anarchy's Children DLC for that
Yeah,
game?
But like that's if you
I
like-
put stripping in the shortest leather hot pants I could find,
That is
and
true. I've seen evidence.
spiked shoulder pads, and a
Well, that's
fucking
why it's a good category.
steampunk top hat.
so much to
Yeah,
talk
but
about.
why'd you do that?
Why'd you do that? It's more about you than it is about the game.
I mean, look, it's about escapism. In 2017 in particular, escapism has become more important than ever.
It says a lot more about you than the game.
It just says quite a bit.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. There's plenty of categories we can make up on the fly.
We can.
I'm just trying to help.
Best
Like-
nature game.
Yeah,
Okay.
best nature game. Firewatch
Sure.
done. Easy. Look at that. Look at this shit. Easy.
Disagree.
See? That's why it's such a good category.
Yeah, indeed, we could do that. But like, we could do best sponsor for today's show. Like, and the nominations would be squarespace.com/cooptional. That's it. That's our sponsor for today's show, squarespace.com/cooptional. Just letting you know that. Get 10% off your first order, squarespace.com/cooptional. Go there.
And now for our Squarespace robot. Hey, kids, it's me, Squarey the robot. Don't be a rectangle, be a square at Squarespace.
It's cool it's hip to be square. Wait, that's copyright. It's cool to be square.
It's hip to be round.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, not round at all.
It's hip to be Squarespace.
Yeah.
Is it?
I mean, yes, not that you would know.
Oh, yeah.
You don't
know.
keep track of such things. You know that.
I only keep
You're well
track
behind
of
the times.
Twitch.tv/Crendor.
If I am there to take the temperature of popular culture, then you would not be my first choice of a place to go to do
Tell
that.
you what, that'd be a mistake. That'd be a first round blunder.
That's a sports reference, isn't it?
That's a first round draft pick blunder. That's a Jared Goff pick.
There is one guy watching who's like, whoa!
That's for you, dude. That's just
the
for
guy.
you.
Yeah.
That's the guy who's gonna go buy my shirt.
All right.
Thanks, guy.
Let's run through what we've got left, and then we'll start making shit up. All right. So that we had a category called "I'll come back to it when it's done," which was a game that you've played that ain't finished yet. That you're like, okay, it's pretty neat, but I'm thinking I'm gonna leave this until it's in a more complete state.
God, I'm trying to remember what I wrote down originally. Give me a sec.
I mean,
Everybody
for
else go
me,
first.
I think it's something that I actually can go back to when it's done, and that was Telltale Batman.
Okay. Which
it's
isn't
done
it
now.
done now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's done now. So I played the first chapter and then watched the second and was like, I'll just get to it when they put it all out. And so
That's becoming Telltale in a nutshell now, though.
yeah, like
Pretty
it's
much
one of those
everything.
things where I just it doesn't have the urgency. Like for some reason, Telltale games used to be like chapter 1 comes out and you're like, oh, crazy shocker, and now I have to play chapter 2. Because they do that so much, I no longer have the urgency to see what happens in chapter 2.
Yeah.
Because chapter 2 rolls around, it's not nearly as good as chapter 1, and the series always goes downhill. So
I've heard that about Batman as well. Some people were disappointed about episode 5. Dodger, you've been into that series quite a bit, right?
Yeah, I played all of it. I enjoyed it throughout. I don't think that any aspect of it was like mind blowing. When I played the final chapter, I played the whole thing on stream, and when I played the final chapter, this isn't a spoiler, but like everything that happened in the final chapter, the viewers were like, wow, you can tell that you really do not give a shit about anything right now. I was just like making fun of everything that happened in it because it was like enjoyable, but the stakes didn't feel super high.
For a
throughout it.
season finale, it wasn't really what you were looking for.
Yeah, it was okay. Honestly, they did a lot of interesting stuff setting up a possible second Batman game that I'm more excited about. That made me like more excited for the second game than I was about the first game.
Okay.
The stuff that I saw, I definitely had the epiphany that I'd be much happier going through it all at once. And I think that's just my problem with Telltale in general is just I dislike episodic stuff so much now because I don't like the waiting makes you feel more disjointed from the actions of the game and what's happening in the game.
You forget more often than not what happened in the first place. It's like coming back to... I had this problem with one specific TV show. Like, I binged on the first season a few years ago of White Collar, and it was like totally up my alley. Like the right kind of sense of humor, the white collar crime aspect to it, I found kind of very interesting. Really cool characters, and I watched the first series, and I think that was it. And it came to a fairly dramatic conclusion. Then a few years later, I tried to come back, and I can't remember anything that happened. I need to now go and watch the whole thing again, but I don't want to watch the first season again because you know those moments where you're like, you rewatch a television series and you think you've forgotten what's happened, but then you remember about halfway through the episode, and you're like, oh, I've watched this already. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's the kind of feeling I got with that. And it feels that way all the time with episodic video games, especially when the episodic releases drag out as much as they do.
Also, crazy thing to mention, speaking of TV, I think Netflix and the Netflix culture of episode watching has really warped my perception of like information intake, because I've thought about this. I absolutely loved shows like Jessica Jones and like all the Marvel stuff I love.
Yeah.
Stranger Things was amazing.
Mhm.
The OA is like, all these shows are really, really good. But upon further thought, I really love them because I watched all 10, 12 episodes in a day.
Yeah.
It was a long movie and I consumed all of it, so everything flew together. But thinking about it, had I seen Daredevil season 2 over the course of 12 weeks, or Luke Cage over 12 weeks,
Yeah.
I know I would not have liked it as much. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of episodes by themselves where I'm like, well, that was an okay episode. I don't know if I fucking, but I'm on to the next one immediately.
No,
Kills enthusiasm.
that's absolutely true. I have still not even finished Luke Cage because we watched
Me
a
neither.
couple of episodes and then didn't watch anything for a couple of days. I had nothing making me feel like I wanted to come back and keep watching it.
Yeah, I ran into similar problems with, it was a lot of the Marvel stuff, actually. In particular, I ran into it with Daredevil and Jessica Jones, where I'd binge, and then for some reason, I wouldn't be able to binge the next few days, and I wouldn't have the sort of motivation to start again. And what is interesting about that, as you said, is that you may have pointed out that difference in consumer habit may have changed the nature of how we consume this media, and that may require a change in the media itself, which is really weird. I find it difficult to watch a lot of stuff on Hulu as a result of that, because Hulu is more, they're becoming a bit more of a binge watching service now, but for the longest time they were a catch up service, and I still use them primarily to watch WWE, because that's the best way to get the weekly shows. But outside of that, a lot of it's like, well, if I can't watch the whole series from start to finish now as I want to, then I'm not interested at all. And the worst thing is when you run up against a series that you're really enjoying, it's like, oh shit, I have to wait next week for the next episode. It's getting to the point where I don't want to start a series unless I know I could finish it. And I wonder, that does apply to some degree to games. It put me off Hitman this year, I'm going to be honest. And I actually have to sit down and play that now, because when that first was released as its first episode, not only did it have a bunch of technical problems, but I had no real interest in playing a lot of it. I played a bit of it, and I'm like, all right, I want to wait. Now, this is a prime example of this category. I'm going to come back when this is all finished, because not only does it not work properly, but if I do get into this, I'm going to get fundamentally disappointed when I run into the brick wall that is the next episode.
Here's the thing. I hear that it's great. I hear that
that's what I've heard.
Stuff is great.
Me too.
But this also is what worries me about their re-release of Final Fantasy VII. Like, it's gonna be episodic. How do you make an RPG episodic?
Yeah.
How do you do that without hampering it in some way that is unnecessary? Like, you have level caps, and if you have level caps, that goes against my way of playing, which is I like to be over leveled going into boss fights. If you cut off the story at certain points, does that mean I can keep leveling, and then the next release I'm like level 99 going into the third or fourth boss fight? Like,
I think there's going to be something weird with that one. I don't think they're going to do that episodically in a very traditional way. There's an old game that they may try to emulate in some way. So back in the Sega Saturn era, one of my favorite RPGs of all time was Shining Force 3. And that was a very weird release, because in the West, we got Shining Force 3, and that was it. And it had its ending wasn't brilliant. It felt like there was something more, and there was a lot of stuff that was not wrapped up at the end. And as it turned out, that's because that's exactly what happened. The game was actually episodic, but scenarios 2 and 3, which were the rest of the game, which was essentially like they overlapped each other in terms of time. There were games that were played from different perspectives of different characters. Like the second scenario overlapped a lot of what was happening in the first game, but it was from the perspective of the like Imperial Prince, who was fighting totally different battles, but he met you, who were the main character in the first one, at certain times, and decisions you made in the first one affected the second and then the third as well. And then overall, those 3 overlaps created a story. And in Japan, those scenarios were released, and everything was hunky-dory, and it's regarded as one of the best RPGs ever. But in the West, they were never released, so they had to alter the ending of the first one. And it felt kind of incomplete as a result. And I wonder if they'll try and pull something like that with Final Fantasy VII, and that maybe the first episode will have a real ending. It's just episodes 2 and 3 will be different perspectives on the story that will all come together in some way.
Yeah, I think just knowing the way that Final Fantasy VII plays as a game and like the story, there are definitely breaking points that would make sense for episodes. It's just making them like interlock correctly, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's really obvious to see where you end certain, like you said, there's definite moments where it's like, there's a good
punctuation points, yeah.
moment. There's a good scene next time moment. The problem is that mechanically, what the hell do you do to make that work? And that's the biggest thing about all games like that. You not only have to keep people coming back for the story part, which is 100% the reason why they come back in an episodic game.
Sure. Yeah.
But also mechanically have to give them something fun to be like, well, that was enjoyable. I may play that again before the next one comes out to see what different options there are.
That's why I don't like those games.
Yeah,
They're just boring at that point. It's like, why am I even playing? Like, a game could just play itself. But it's because it's like practically a little show you're watching.
And this is why I'm convinced my experience, because I've always heard people say that they did not like the end of Life is Strange. Like, they just didn't like the end. But my experience with that game, because I played it all in one sitting, I think was different. And that the way the story flowed for me, I was fine with the way it ended because I saw all the signs pointing to it. And it wasn't like, oh, well, I've waited X amount of months and a year for this entire thing to be released. So now I'm angry that I put all this time into it. For me, Dodger and I didn't spend like nearly as much time as that.
No.
We just went through it and we're like, oh, well, now the story is done. And this is cool. So I think my experience with it was way different than most people's experiences. But I have that same feeling with the Telltale games. Like, I the only Telltale game that I have not played after everything was released was the Game of Thrones one. Hated it.
Which is interesting because, like, I think the ending of the first episode of the Game of Thrones title was considered to be, like, not only very appropriate to Game of Thrones, but also like, oh, this is a classic Telltale cliffhanger. But I heard that it fell off a cliff after that. And weirdly enough, I didn't play the rest of it either. Even though, like, after the first one, like, wow, what a fucking ending. Holy shit. But for some reason, that didn't compel me to play the rest of it. And I think a lot of it came down to that online negativity. Because I thought, all right, I'll wait for all 5 episodes. But then by the time I got there, I'd heard people dogging on it so much. I was just like, well, I guess I won't bother then. Let's just leave it on that cliffhanger. That was good. That was a good 2-hour chunk of Game of Thronesy shit. Let's just leave it at that, I suppose.
I wish, I honestly wish that I had not played it immediately because I'm such a big Game of Thrones nerd and just waited.
Yeah.
Because I know I would have had a better experience with it had I played it all
Probably,
at once.
Yeah.
But because I was waiting and the bits that I got, I was like, that was not, like, that 2 hours was not worth the wait. That was garbage. But had it been a giant 8-hour, 10-hour game chunk, then I would have come away from it differently. And I know that because that's what I do when I watch Netflix shows.
Yeah. That's fair. I'd throw a couple of other things in this category that are a little bit different to that. There was a weird release, I think it was this year, called 8-Bit Armies, and it was by Petroglyph, who are like some of the ex-Westwood guys. And they've released like a bunch of games that have done middlingly okay. Like, they haven't had a big hit, but they're kind of trucking along. And they made this really simple Command & Conquer-esque game. That was like, if you play Command & Conquer, you know how to play this immediately. And they did it with pretty simple, blocky graphics. I wouldn't call it 8-bit by any stretch, but that's how they branded it for some reason. And it came out with only one army, which to me was the dumbest thing imaginable, because
You mean
honestly,
like one unit set?
Yeah, it was like one set of units, and they were very generic as well. Like, it was like tank, helicopter, infantry, grenade infantry, all that kind of thing. And it had a little campaign and everything, and that was cool, but at the time it came out, I was like, oh god, I get where you're trying to go with this, and it plays fine, but because you don't have the gameplay variety right out of the box, I don't care. So I didn't play it. Now, they've actually released 3 games as part of this series that all work together. 8-Bit Armies, 8-Bit Hordes, and 8-Bit Invaders.
Oh,
8-bit
Invaders looks so good.
Yeah, Invaders is very sci-fi B-movie-esque, so it's got two factions, like a sort of robot faction, alien faction. 8-bit Hordes is Warcraft, basically. It's got a humans, elves, dwarves faction, and a kind of orc undead faction. And you can play all 6 now. They added a second faction to 8-bit Armies as free DLC, and then they released those other 2, so there's now 6 armies. And they can all play together. So you can play the aliens versus the dragons and shit like that, and which is kind of neat. That was a game where I felt like, oh god, this is... Even though you released this as a complete product, it clearly wasn't.
Right.
And I don't know if that was the best idea, and maybe you sort of shot yourself in the kneecap before you even got out of the gate here. But now I definitely want to play Invaders and also experience big battles with the 6 different factions and see the orcs fighting the tanks, fighting the alien battleships and shit. That sounds like a lot of fun. So Invaders just came out a couple of weeks ago, so I want to dip back into that now. Because as far as I'm concerned, now that's done. You know, that's a complete experience. So that was something a little bit different.
I don't know if this counts because it's not... One that I was thinking of was Divinity Original Sin 2.
Okay. So that sounds like it does count, yeah.
Yeah, because like they let you play the whole first part of the game. I wasn't sure if it counted because it's not like technically an early access. It's not like you can play as much of the game as you want.
Yeah.
It's just got a very long demo essentially.
Right.
But we had a lot of fun with it. And I was thinking to myself, you know, if they were to say, oh, you can play a little bit more of the game now, but the game still isn't released, I don't know that I would want to.
You'd want to just wait for the whole thing now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because we had a lot of fun playing it, but it really sucked to be like, oh, we can't do anything else. Like it would have been... I'm glad that we played it, but I would love for us to come back to it at a time when like the sky's the limit, you know?
That seems like the way to go with a game like that as well.
Yeah.
I felt that way with Grim Dawn this year actually as well. I think that went to early access like last year, but I thought, okay, I'll try it, and I realized, okay, I'm gonna run into the end of this early access version at Act 1, like the end of Act 1, and if I get into this as it's because it's a loot game, it's a hack and slash loot game, it's Diablo-esque. If I get into this, I'm gonna want to keep playing, and you're not gonna let me. So to me, I was like, oh, right, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole until it's finished then. Weirdly enough, I lost interest in it over that time, which I think is a bit of a risk of doing it that way.
Yeah.
Because they definitely released that in chunks, which to me was not probably the way to go with an RPG of any sort, really, even if it is just a hack and slash where the story's not as important. So I think it's like early access wise. I haven't tried Astroneer yet. I know a lot of people have said
it's so fun.
But
Holy
is that a game that will go into that category for you, or is there enough there?
That game doesn't count as part of that for me because it's pre-alpha and it already has so much stuff in it that I feel like I can just play it.
That's fair.
Yeah, they're in the phase where they're constantly adding stuff in, so it's really fun to play right now. Honestly, the only problems that I ran into consistently were physics problems, which can sometimes be horrible, but like overall, very, very fun game.
That's cool to hear. I might give it a try then on that basis. I was avoiding it just because of that. I heard a lot of really good feedback. Like, yeah, it sounds great. And to me, it actually sounded like something I would enjoy.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, about setting up like industry on a planet. It's like, that's up my alley. That sounds like a game for me. But it ain't done yet. Like, what if I run into that limitation? What if I run into that darkest dungeon sort of situation? I mean, that was the game I definitely came back to when it was done. There's one that really got me back. Off-World Trading Company was the same, actually. I played the early version of that. Weirdly enough, like the final version didn't really add that much to the base game, but it added like the full campaign and the daily challenge modes and all that shit to it, which that is a really fucking good game. I don't know if I could call it overlooked this year. I don't think it was really overlooked. It was just kind of niche. Because really, how many people are going to play a strategy game that's just about earning money on Mars through, like, resource mining and shit? But it's really good! Like, it's all about fucking over your opponents. Like, you get access to the best minerals first, and you take that claim, and if somebody takes it first, you can sabotage it, and like you can cause their workers to rebel or send in space pirates to steal their shit and everything. That is really good. That's a great game that I dip into that every couple of weeks, like, and I play one of the daily challenges and realize how fucking awful I am at it. That's really good though. I like that one. It's worth a look. I'm gonna ask one other thing, Dodger, because I know you've played this. Slime Rancher.
Yeah.
Does that fall into this category, or do you feel like that's good enough content right now to justify it?
I enjoy Slime Rancher. I think I would like to wait until it's done. I understand what the game is, and I know where they're going with it. But there are times where I'm playing it and I think to myself, "Oh, it doesn't have this. Well, maybe they'll add that in later." So I think that I'll have a better experience, like knowing my limitations once the game is complete.
Sure.
You know, that's one of the things about early access that winds up being frustrating sometimes is, man, I really wish that the game had this, but I feel like I can't complain because they might be planning on putting that in.
Yeah.
Whereas if the game is out and you still don't have that, you can be like, oh man.
Yeah. But even then, at this point, like, does that even count anymore? Because we've seen so many like big features introduced in games that are out, as it were, that
That's
it's
true.
like, really, does the release feature set matter that much? Like, you know, there's no real reason why it couldn't be added.
I feel like you are more justified in mentioning it.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You know, because if you're playing an early access game and you're like, man, it really sucks that they don't have this, then immediately the first response is, well, I mean, it is an alpha, or, well, I mean, it is early access. And
Yes.
it's like, no, I get that. But like, I'm just saying I would like to have that.
Yeah. And then post-launch, it's like, what the fuck? Why didn't you have this? Especially if you advertise
man, you guys
that
didn't
feature.
have this. This seems so obvious to include in this game.
Yeah, you're totally right. Cool. Anything else anyone's got on this? I want to move on. All right, let's move on then. All right, come on, Jesse. You've got to do this. We promised we'd do this category.
Boobies.
Go on.
Boobies.
Physics.
Boobies.
Best boob physics.
Easy. I can think of 4 off the top of my head. They're all
Of course
obvious.
you can. 2 pairs.
Yeah,
as it
I
were.
had more written down, but I can't find my damn document. Anyway, best boob physics. First, we have to give a shout out to the game Haiti, which is insane game.
I'm sorry, what game is this?
HAYDEE.
Oh, that! Oh,
Like-
God. I forgot that existed.
A
Fuck.
weird robot with insane boob butt physics that make no sense. That are just like,
The game that actually seems like it's pretty good. Like, it's a first-person sort of puzzle Metroidvania-esque thing, and yet for some reason you play titty
as a
robot.
Butt robot. Yeah, you play as a robot that just for some reason has a boob and butt, has boobs and butts.
Big of both. That's
Yeah, oh.
like part of the main marketing for the game. And yet, like, the game itself isn't trash. Like, it's not garbage. It's actually a good first-person
Doesn't make any
puzzle-esque
sense
kind
why
of thing.
This is the way they went. Maybe to sell some things, but God bless, it's so
Gets some
silly and
attention.
stupid. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not like, wow, those look super real. Like that's spot on physics. It's like one move, and they're like,
Well, I mean, it's a robot.
yeah, you know,
I
yeah,
guess.
it's not real boobs. It's all like, I don't know, circuits and silicone. Anyway, next, we have to give a shout out to Dead or Alive Extreme 3.
Oh, God.
Every iteration they deliver, every titeration they deliver,
Nah.
Yep.
and
Terrible video game.
phenomenal boobs and butts.
Wait, did part of that game come out in 2016?
Yes, 2016 Extreme 3.
So, what happened with that? There was some weird shit going on with that. I believe they said they weren't going to release it in the West.
Right.
And the reason this has started one of probably the biggest non-controversies of the year, I guess. That they said the reason they wouldn't do it is because of the West's attitudes towards boobs and butts, and that basically they said the West was too prudish,
Gotcha.
essentially. And this got public, and it caused a huge argument online as a result of that. It was a very limited release. It was on Team Ninja's Facebook page. They said they wouldn't release it in Western territories. And then they said it was due to cultural differences. Like, the president of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios actually commented on this. Shuhei Yoshida. Yeah, Yoshida. Well, let's go with that. It's due to cultural differences. The West has its own thinking about how to depict women in games media that's different from Japan. The response is the decision not to distribute. And it's like, it was nuts, because the guys who made Honey Pop offered Tecmo Koei $1 million for distribution rights in North America. And the company, was it PlayAsia, made a shit ton of money importing it, because the Japanese version, not only was it fully localized in English, it ran there's no region lock on it. So they just imported shit ton of...
it out.
Yeah, so they made a ton of money selling this. Because of all of this controversy, they sold a ton of this. And, I mean, the game sucks. There's no real doubt about it. Like,
they all sucked. I mean, it's not like they were.
I don't know. Am I about to defend Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball 1 on Xbox? Because I might be.
I hope you are.
Look,
I had a lot of fun with the first one.
Yeah, the first one, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, was as fucking, it was fan servicey as you think it would be, but it was still a fun kind of beach volleyball game. It actually came out 13 years ago. Holy fuck. Yeah, 2003 for that one.
Shit, dude.
The thing is, like, since then, it's become way more fan servicey and way less about the little the volleyball, for one thing, and like the mini games. It became more of a weird dating sim and sort of weird interact with the girls, take photos of the girls, date but
Unlock
don't not date the
bikinis
girl.
that are basically not clothing.
Yes,
And put
it
them
became
on the
more
girls.
of that. It just became a sort of fan servicey indulgence thing. Whereas the original one was actually a beach volleyball game, and it wasn't bad.
It's called Dead or Alive Extreme 3. Not
Yeah, they don't call it that anymore. They don't call it volleyball anymore because it basically isn't. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you could certainly say they put a lot of detail into it. Let's just put it that way. PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4 releases for that. Very dumb to me not to release it or in the West. Like, the controversy generated around it was completely pointless. It's like, girls in bikinis. Yeah, we totally don't accept that in the West. Like, what? No, come on. It's not some weird fucking ass hentai game. It's girls in bikinis.
The island is made of tentacles.
And the girls are monsters, but also not. It's
also,
not that. I don't know. Weird.
Also in this category, we have to give it to King of Fighters 14. Even though no one played that game, every year Mai comes out in her weird red outfit and just jiggles her boobs in front of the camera. So, the best Fatal Fury and King of Fighters character. Anyway, the winner, though, by far, the winner has to be Street Fighter V.
Gonna give it to that. Although, weirdly enough, that a lot of that comes down to worse boob-physics, because during the beta there was a bug. Yep. Now this bug was it was very strange. It caused, I think, the player on the player 2, like on the right, if they were playing a female character, their breasts went AWOL. They went crazy, all over the place.
Yes, all over the place. Everywhere, all over the place.
Yeah. Oh yes, good.
I don't know that we ever got a reason for why that was.
It was a weird glitch.
Yeah,
it was a weird glitch in the E3 build. The people,
all of the things.
Yeah, it was so strange. I say people got mad over it. About 3 people did or whatever. But there was articles about it. Capcom's like, oh no, this is a bug. This is not how it's supposed to be. But it was literally only player 2. Only player 2. It didn't happen on the left side. Only on the right. And it only happened, I think, during the intro screens, the versus screens. It didn't happen in the actual game itself.
Yeah, where they show up and they're like, I'm going to challenge
I'm going to do a pull. I'm going to do a pose. Yeah. And they escaped. They wouldn't stop. She did the pose and the boobs were like, I got my own dance and I'm going to start that now. And you're going to wait for me to be done before we get in there.
Nobody tells our Mika's boobs what to do.
No, apparently not.
Yeah, but I mean, also the inclusion of Laura and her, like, constant underboob, like, just nailed it.
She's got a lot of things going on, a lot of different places.
Laura is Bae. She's best character.
Yeah. First off, it's always Jury, but whatever. We'll move on from that because
I think you meant Laura, but it's okay. A lot of people mispronounce her name.
Jesse's obsession with that scrawny, evil woman is strange.
It's
Oh
not-
my god,
not
that is a
strange.
boob glitch.
Welcome to the show, Eric.
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
just took the
doing
boob
some
glitch for a
research
big-
here. I'm now
is.
educated on the topic.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so there you go. That's definitely my number one. There are other games I had on a list somewhere, but those are the only ones I can remember. So we'll leave it there. But trust me, there was plenty of boob physics this year. Shout out to the industry for keeping it going.
There we go. There's your category. All right, let
Yeah.
us move on. Let's get the rest of these finished, and then we can make shit up for the next couple of hours. Not that
Yes.
I've been doing that anyway.
Yeah.
Where is it?
The soundtrack?
Yeah, let's do Raddest. It's Raddest soundtrack.
Oh, I'm sorry. Raddest
Yeah.
In
soundtrack.
fact, I'm going to put that in caps. There we go. Make
Radagast.
it
Radagast soundtrack.
Radagast soundtrack. Dark wave, I imagine. Just some
Yeah.
weird fucking dark wave. That's all you
Maybe
listen
some
to.
ambient bird sounds.
Indeed.
Yeah, good bird sounds.
Okay, my nomination for Raddest soundtrack is Fury.
I thought it might be somehow.
Yeah, I figured that's
That
what you.
that made it on my arbitrary awards list. Like, it is extremely good.
So good. Whenever that music pops up in the rotation while I'm just listening to Spotify, I'm like, yes.
Mm. It is good, no doubt about that. Does it match up to Doom's soundtrack though?
Oh my god, that's all people have talked about all week is how good Doom soundtrack was.
It's because it fucking is. It's so good. There's not a bad track on there. And, I mean, we got reminded of that nice at the end of the year when we watched the Game Awards and it was mostly shit, with the exception of Mick Gordon's performance. I've got to say, though, I'm going to fucking rag on the crowd for a second.
Yes.
Oh
Because
shit.
they were enthusiastic. I'll give them that. They didn't just stand there being like, what's this? Thank fuck. You know, they actually were into it. Here's the thing. When someone's on stage playing this heavy shit, who is playing some really nice, down-tuned, dirty metal, fucking face-melting riffs, what you do not do is that fucking Eminem slow patting hand motion that people do at certain
Don't
rap
tell them
gigs.
how to dance, TV.
I'm going to assume. There you go. That Jesse's doing it. Yeah. You do not do that at the stage. No. No, you
Also,
don't.
Tell me how to enjoy music.
I
Don't
will.
forget-
There are
Also,
only
let's
there are
take a
several ways that are
self-deprecating
acceptable, and that is not it. That's not
Let's
one
take
of
a
them.
self-deprecating look at just most concerts in general. If you look at the crowds in most concerts, it is the silliest, lamest thing you've ever seen. You're like,
Yeah.
God, is that what I look like when I'm in like the front? Like, yeah, you're doing it. Like, no one looks good at a concert.
It's petting an imaginary dog, is what it is. Slowly petting an imaginary dog. That is not the way to respond to metal at all. I don't think it's the way to respond to any music. Really.
God.
Even, you know, it's used, it happens a lot with rap gigs. I'm like, why are you doing that? Stop it.
This is how I'm gonna get down.
It's like, I get all, you know, jumping around, you know, throwing your
Judging
hands up in the
the
air,
way
cool.
people
But
like to enjoy music.
the slow petting. Of course I'm elitist.
Oh.
I'm telling you how you should enjoy music. Because you're doing it wrong.
You gotta get in the pit, guys. You gotta get out in that pit.
Oh, I'd love to see a pit at Game Awards. That'd be
Sounded
fucking
like a
hilarious.
super.
Fucking
Game Awards
throw
pit.
the-
Oh, yeah.
Throw the Schick Hydrobot in the middle of the pit. Oh my god.
Stop my glasses, guys.
See
The
how
way
many
you-
people get
glasses.
cut by that
The way you
razor.
talked
How much of a
about that
safety
metal
razor
music,
is it?
By the way, you sounded like you were a metal music stoner. You're just like these like mad riffs, like they don't appreciate.
Uh, hey, you want to talk?
Smelting
Yeah, you
ribs.
want me to talk about metal subgenres for 3 hours? I can do it. I can do it, motherfucker. Don't tempt me.
Oh my god. All right. Well, sure. Fury's good.
Yeah,
Fury's good. Let It Die has a
Mm,
fantastic,
yeah.
just like J-pop
Great.
soundtrack that I
Yeah.
could listen to all day.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
It's not
Madden
all J-pop.
17.
There's a
Madden
sh-
17 soundtrack
oh
is
fuck
great.
off.
Some great tracks.
Such as, can you name even one of them?
I can make it bounce.
Really? Can we do? We're just going to take that out of context. Just post that.
No,
Look
you
up.
don't need to
I
take it out of
can make
context.
it
It means
bounce.
exactly what you think it means.
Yeah, I can make it bounce. Lil Wayne. Look that one up on the
Lol
tubes,
Wayne.
Lol
Uh,
Wayne,
Lil
yes.
Wayne.
and it's like I can make it bounce by myself. After you
Really?
hear
That's a masturbation euphemism,
After-
really, isn't it?
if you hear that a few times and it loops over and over, it's in your head. It's stuck
All
there.
right. Well,
I'm
back
not
to
not so
things
sure about that.
got a little bit better. Definitely 100% Hyperlight Drifter.
Yep.
Oh, Hyperlight Drifter has great music
It's
too.
amazing. Thumper.
Yeah.
The music in that game is 99% of the game. Like that's
It's
the
got to
whole point
be,
of
yeah.
what you're doing.
Kind of a rhythm-esque racy game.
Yeah, you're like a little
They get-
magical scarab, and you fight giant, weird monsters and shit in space. It's dope. The
Melts
game's
your
cool.
eyes.
Put that in VR, you will lose your mind. You will not want to take it off.
Well, you might with the pain and such,
I
but
guess
yeah.
that's true. I honestly, I would say in a different direction because most of the things we've selected so far have been like really like boom, 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 boom. In a different direction, Firewatch had a good soundtrack.
Sure. Yeah.
In that one.
Very understated, that one.
Yeah. I don't. Bound is another good example of a great. I didn't like the game, but the soundtrack's very, very good.
Yeah, I didn't play it. I heard it was quite the looker, but as soon as you actually played the fucking thing, that it was a bit of a disaster piece.
Yeah. There's a lot of control issues in a game that's based on control.
That's not ideal, no.
I
mean, I'll throw,
yeah.
even though it's kind of a... I don't know because I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to assume if it's anywhere near as good or if it uses the same music as the original Res did, the Res Infinite on PlayStation VR. I don't know if it uses new music, but if it's anything like the original Res, the soundtrack to that was fucking incredible. And that was like something that built up over the course of each level that you went through. It started off very, very basic, and you contributed to the soundtrack by shooting shit. You know, it was kind of very rhythmic in that respect. So I can't imagine that Res Infinite has a bad soundtrack.
Because I'm still gonna continue to hype this game up. The soundtrack to Oxenfree, while very ambient, is like perfect. It's the perfect soundtrack for that game. So definitely put that on the list.
I thought Owlboy had good music too.
Yeah, Civ 6.
Civ 6, yeah,
That's absolutely true.
not the sort of soundtrack, like, I wouldn't sit down and listen to that soundtrack, but when you're building an empire, that's exactly, you want your fucking historical music and stuff that's culturally appropriate for that game, because that
And
suits the
also-
environment of it.
For the first time in a Civ game, the music told you who was winning.
It
Oh.
does, yeah, it actually does.
Because the music would change based on the nation or civilization that was leading. So I could always tell when Russia was winning because suddenly you have like even though there was different versions of it, you have the the future version of the song and the like.
There's
old
there's a bunch
You
of
can
different
always
ones.
tell. Mhm.
Different
Yeah,
like
every-
era interpretations of stuff that like is it Scarborough Fair, like especially if you're playing England, like you'll hear different versions of Scarborough Fair throughout the years and everything. That's really cool.
Yeah, and if you're winning, you'll hear your song, and if you're losing, you'll hear whoever's winning song. And that's something I didn't pick up on right away. And I was like, why am I, as America, hearing freaking Russian songs? That's a hilarious joke now, but when playing the game, it's
Arr.
not so funny because you're losing.
Yeah.
So,
It's like they're actually 300 years ahead of you technologically and
You're like,
culturally,
"Oh,
but you know,
Yeah.
oops, that's unfortunate. Oops.
mhm. Yeah. So that's, I think that's a really clever use of a soundtrack there.
Yeah, there was some really good shit this year in that regard.
Yeah, the music. I mean, and even though it came out the very, very end, I fundamentally believe the soundtrack to Final Fantasy 15 was amazing. Like, just maybe the best part of that game, hands down, maybe the best part of that game.
I was watching you fight some giant fish thing, and I'm like, this is Skyrim. Like, this music is Skyrim.
Music is good, yeah.
It has that level to it. Now, it's weird because the two songs that, for some reason, the two songs that play when you fight Leviathan and Titan, those two songs, the back like track melody, I'm waiting for someone to combine that with Skyrim because I think it might be the exact same thing. If you just put those two together, you have literally the most epic song ever created.
It sounded very inspired, let me put it that way.
I mean, you literally become a Super Saiyan during the Leviathan fight. So you fly around and throw magic bolts of swords at people. So it's definitely a. I thought the music was really, really fun. This year there were a lot of really, really great games that had phenomenal soundtracks. So yeah, in chat, even No Man's Sky had good music.
That was the only good bit of it. No Man's Sky had great music.
Yeah, No Man's Sky had great music. It's an interesting thing that this year music was really heavily focused on, but shout out to all the composers out there, because that's what made 90% of the games I played worth it.
Oh yeah. I was always interested in diving into a game to see if it had something really cool that would end up on my playlist for the longer than the time that the game actually interested me for. And most of the time, yeah, probably would. I'll give a bit of a nod to Battlefield 1's music as well, as I'm not a huge fan of the game, but some really cool interpretation. I always look forward to every time a new Battlefield game comes out to see how they're gonna spin the good old Battlefield theme. That motif that's been in every Battlefield game.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wasn't blown away by this year's interpretation of it. There's ups and downs, but it's always a good theme. Everyone knows that theme, the one that starts with da 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 da. That one that is in every Battlefield game ever. And there was some really cool versions of it. I think it was Bad Company 1. There was a track called "The Drums of Battlefield" they just did that on drums. And it was like, whoa, this is an amazing interpretation of that. And I know when they were
liked the version they did with oh my god, the White Stripes version that they had this year was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
At least we've got Salvation Army is a good song for World War One.
Yeah, that works. So I'm kind of glad we've got away from the modern Battlefields that were like, we're going to take the theme and make it more and more dubstep every year. It's like, please stop.
Every year, man, whoops.
It's like, this sounds like you just threw a field recorder in a dishwasher and turned it on full cycle. That's not music. It's like, what? No, it's a lawnmower. That's not an instrument. What are you doing?
I will give...
can be an instrument, TV.
Oh, is that my musical elitism showing through again? All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for setting me in my place on that one.
That's the real metal. That's the real metal, TB. Metal.
Jesus Christ. You say that. I have several albums of pirate metal. Deathbeak.
Is it like pirate metal?
Deathbeak. No, their lead singer's a parrot.
I was gonna say, he said parrot, right? Not pirate.
I did say pirate. No, pirate metal's easy. There's shit tons of pirate metal bands. No,
parrot
metal
is
parrot
the
metal.
true art.
Yeah, you're talking about parrot metal, which we're talking about Deathbeak, which is the world's first parrot metal band. And
it's
actually not Deathbeak, it's Hatebeak. Sorry, got completely confused between the two. Hatebeak, Deathbeak is not real. Hatebeak, on the other hand, is.
Classic mix-up.
Yeah, they have 4 albums. Beak of Putrefaction, Bird Seeds of Vengeance, The Thing That Should Not Beak, and Number of the Beak.
I just want to point out that over the past month or so, I have been introduced to a band called Necrogoblicon.
Oh, you now know of them. Okay.
And I'm just like, oh, it's a goblin-themed heavy metal band. All right, sure. So, yeah, I feel like anything can... metal is where the themes exist. If you're going to be something...
Yeah, I mean, it's when a goblin-themed heavy metal band is fairly standard that that the genre's got really interesting.
Guys, I really love Hatebeak.
There you go. I've now introduced you to Hatebeak.
I love it. I've clicked through a couple songs out. I'm like, yeah.
It's pretty good. Like, they're a three-piece. It's Blake Harrison from Pig Destroyer, and Mark Sloan on guitar and bass, and Waldo the Parrot on vocals. They did a collab record with K9us, which is the first death grind band formed with 2 pit bulls as vocalists. As Basil and Budgie the Pitbull. Unfortunately, one of them died in 2011, which sucks.
I'm so invested.
Yeah, they're actually both dead now. Both dogs are dead.
No.
Hey, the parrot's still alive though, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, they put a new album out in 2015. So Hatebeak survives at least.
These are so funny. That bird's just like,
yeah.
Just fucking shredding in the background of the screen.
Metal's best music genre. And if you don't believe me, you don't know what you're talking about. Simple as that.
That's so funny.
I can't wait for the game that gets inevitably scored by them. That'll be perfect.
I hope it's the Hatoful Boyfriend sequel.
Perfect. Ideal.
Oh my god. Metal
Love it.
Camp.
Yeah.
Oh, hello there.
Oh my god, yes, it's Bandcamp. Everybody goes to Bandcamp and Hatebeak is there.
Yes. Famous band Hatebeak.
Yes.
All
At the
right.
end of the camp, you're performing for Hatebeak. Oh no!
Oh
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll do some more categories that we made up for our made-up dumb award show that you take too seriously. Here's someone you should take seriously, our sponsor for the show, squarespace.com/cooptional. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere. Why would you do this? Oh, no. It's 2017, and the worst year in human history has finally come to an end. 52 weeks of utter misery that we will never forget. Horrific events such as the invasion of Finland by the cult of Azathoth, the complete destruction of the West Indies as it was swallowed up by a larger-than-average whale, and the devastation wrought upon untold millions of Americans by the release of Fergie's single MILF. It has been a truly awful year for humankind, but there is one thing that stands head and shoulders above everything else as a true disaster, the memory of which will live on forever. Yes, I am talking about your terrible website. Your terrible website is responsible for every failure that you have experienced in your life. It is responsible for crushing your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. After just one viewing of your terrible website, seabirds give up flight, plummeting to their deaths in the icy waters below. Just the knowledge that your terrible website exists has created untold numbers of doomsday cults all over the globe. The sweet embrace of death's eternal slumber is not enough to escape your terrible website. It transcends space and time. It is the Alpha and the Omega. It may have existed before the universe began. It may be the reason that it ends. However, we are now in 2017, and this is a year of fresh starts, a year of new beginnings, a year of hope in which literally anybody, no matter how seemingly incompetent, unqualified, and totally unsuited to the job, can rise to greatness. Cast off the shackles of your terrible website and forge a legacy anew with squarespace.com/cooptional. Squarespace lets you create a website for whatever you'd like. Are you a small businessman? That's only because of your terrible website. With squarespace.com/cooptional, you can become a huge businessman in an incomprehensibly small amount of time. Simple to use, but with powerful results, Squarespace can create your professional-looking, easy-to-browse website that's compatible with practically any device imaginable. Do you want to showcase your artistic vision? Do it with a website on Squarespace. Do you have a fantastic product that you'd like to sell to the world? Squarespace's e-commerce tools provide secure, powerful functionality with no experience required. You can even get 10% off your first order at squarespace.com/cooptional. Stand out from the crowd with a domain name from Squarespace. It's like installing yourself as the god-appointed dictator of your very own country, only without the pesky invasions and basic human rights requirements. 2016 was terrible, and it was all your fault. Make 2017 better by creating your new, cleaner, faster website on squarespace.com/cooptional. Break the infinite cycle of soul-crushing despair that makes the heat death of the universe sound like a sexy party and set up your much better website today. Squarespace, set your website apart. Or you can accept the apocalyptic embrace of Azathoth. Finland has. It can't be all that bad. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast. You heard songs by Miracle of Sound there from his new album, Level 7. Go and check it out, miracleofsound.bandcamp.com. Or go check out his YouTube channel. There's some songs on there too. Go buy his album. It's really, really, really good. And Gav's our friend and has been on the show before, and we will happily shill for him. Forever! Forever.
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 All right. Yay. Okay, let's move on, shall we, with some more topics? We've got, I think there's a couple more we had on our list before we start making shit up. I don't know why we have this topic. Fuck, it's more 16-bit bullshit.
What?
Oh yeah.
I think like a few weeks ago when we were discussing this, for some reason we came up with this topic, fuck, it's more 16-bit bullshit.
It was because I felt like every time we looked at the release lists, you were like, it's another 16-bit game. Move on.
I'm trying to figure out, was
No.
this a category for stuff we'd actually played and liked that was like, oh, it's retro style?
I don't know. I think I jokingly was just like, we should have one about all of the 16-bit games. And then you named it, fuck, it's more 16-bit bullshit.
I just don't know what the point of the category was.
Me
We're
I
neither.
feel like it
Might-
point this out, but you didn't really think through that you haven't really played any of the 16-bit bullshit games. There's
true, we
nothing to
didn't really
like.
play them.
I mean,
Go on.
that's kind of the problem, isn't it? It's like we pointed it as like, the retro-inspired thing. But I think the point of it was to be a category of like, did we play any good sort of retro-ish titles this year of some
Right.
description? Which is unfortunately a pretty
Owlboy.
bad category because most of us don't play those. But yeah, you could count Owlboy. This is just the Owlboy appreciation category, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. If there's
Owlboy's
anything else.
pretty good.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I played recently.
One shot
Oh.
is super pixely, and I've liked that game a lot.
I mean, yeah. There's that. I mean, you played Pony. I mean, you played a bunch of like weird bullshit games this year, Jesse. Pony
Yeah,
Island
but
is
I
very
don't think
retro.
Those count as weird bullshit games. Like those were delivery methods, right? Like to hide the weird. Like Pony Island, the game is a weird bullshit method to hide the real game inside of it, right?
Right.
So I don't know if that particularly counts because it's just the easiest way to do that. Because there's actually in there other versions of Pony Island. There's a 3D version of it. There's like a Game Boy version of it. So there's different versions of the game hidden in it. I think there's a lot of man. I'm trying to remember. I played-
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley. There we go.
Yeah.
Does that count?
I mean, it's kind of like a 16-bit
I would
type.
think
It's
so.
it's Super Nintendo
It's a
esque
pixely
graphically.
type.
I mean, it was supposed to look like Harvest Moon, right?
Yeah.
That definitely counts then.
I think that's the only one I played.
I liked Kingdom this year, which is very 16-bit.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
I loved Kingdom.
I
Yeah.
tried to like that. I gave it a play after they released the New Lands expansion redo thing, and I don't know, just I felt like there wasn't enough for me to do. I think because you're riding around your horse
It's a
as the king.
repetitive game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you sort of gradually range out further and further to find more cash, and then you just spend that cash on dudes and bits of your base that sit around working independently without you doing anything. I
Yeah.
think I didn't find that very compelling. Like, I understood the principle of like it's a kind of survival game, but what you had to do yourself as the player, I found to be just horribly boring.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, it's one of those games where I enjoyed it, but you can definitely see what's wrong with it. Like when your guards go to the wrong side, they're like, no, they're clearly coming from the other side. They're like, we'll defend over here, sir. Like, yeah. So but I still enjoyed the hell out of it, and it definitely qualifies.
I'd throw a Halcyon 6 in there as one that looks like
Absolutely.
that's very sort of old school retro looking, but very. Do I call it modern mechanics? I don't know. I don't think so. Like, there were plenty of. I think it calls back a lot to XCOM, and it also calls back a lot to JRPGs. Like, the combat system is a JRPG combat system. It's a squad based. You've got a speed and energy meter. You have a squad of ships or a squad of dudes, and they have a squad of ships or a squad of dudes, and you use your regular abilities or your special abilities that are on cooldown and all that kind of thing. That was very retro in many ways, but it combined it in a very modern way. I like that a lot. And the graphic style was endearing for that, I think. Very bloody as well, I noticed, actually. When one of your red shirts gets blown up by evil fucking spike death alien that you encountered while you were excavating part of the space station. That was the best thing about it. Like, it was like, yeah, I'm just going to empty, because we're rebuilding the space station. We just need to dig out all the junk from this room right here, and we can put something in it. Oh, there's a deadly death alien in here. Let's
Deadly Death Alien.
Deadly
Damn.
Death Alien.
Oh,
Send
shit.
in the red shirts, and they get shot, and they just melt into a pile of goo and bones on the floor. That was wonderful. That was really cool to watch.
Chat brings up Enter the Gungeon. I don't know how we didn't think of that one.
Oh,
a-
yeah. I played that.
Hella good.
Yeah, that game was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't replace Isaac in your
Not
library,
even
did it?
remotely.
Close. Yeah. Yeah, not even close. But
Dude, Isaac just got a big like
The mod, right?
expansion, but it's a mod.
Anti-birth, I believe.
Anti-birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't enough content for that game.
Well, that's the thing is like Anti-birth just came out, and I think Afterbirth came out today, which is the official one.
we're never gonna see.
Wait,
Northern
Afterbirth
Ireland
came
again.
out
He's
to-
gone.
This
Every
week, I
time
thought
I see him
Afterbirth had been
tweet,
out for
he's
months.
like,
I think it's
tweeting
it
about
either
it.
came out today or it's coming out.
I just saw Afterbirth.
Or was it just a big update?
Afterbirth Plus.
Hmm.
Yeah, after birth.
After
plus.
plus. Okay, right,
Yeah.
that would be it then.
Mhm.
So I was going to say, that's been around for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, sorry, it's Afterbirth Plus. Yeah.
You can never keep track of that game.
But-
It's got so much content.
So much stuff. I love it.
Yeah. So I don't know. People Risk of Rain wasn't this year, so that doesn't
No,
count.
that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Not even
there's-
close.
Here's the hard thing. Man, is it getting difficult to tell which games came out a year before or the
Yeah.
past year?
Yeah.
God, I have to like double check everything I type in. I'm like, oh, was this year? Oh, nope. So yeah, I don't. I think it goes
Hyperlight
back-
Drifter, I think, definitely. It's weird because, like, you can. I think it's a very basic way to look at an aesthetic to say that
Yeah.
just because it's like, oh, it's got pixel art, so it's like 16-bit inspired or whatever. I don't know. I don't think Hyperlight Drifter really counts in the way that I don't think Owlboy counts either. You know, Owlboy is pixel art, yes, but it's like there's no 16-bit game that was ever close to that level of detail. Like you'd have to, even the Neo Geo shit and like the 32-bit 2D pixel art games weren't as detailed as Owlboy. And Hyperlight Drifter maybe, but I'd say that like that aesthetic is a lot more. Should I use the term impressionist? I don't know. I didn't study art very much. Like there's a lot of stuff in that game that's less
I did,
about
and
detail,
I'm still
more
not
about
sure what you would call that.
more about like, oh, you would kind of interpret this, and it's very kinetic as well. You know, it's very much about like the movement and the animation rather than the static detail. I don't know, but you could probably toss in there. This category's made up. We can put whatever the fuck we want in it.
True.
Yeah. A
right.
lot of the games people are suggesting came out in 2015. So.
Yeah. Speaking of, there's a good follow-up category to that. A game we forgot even happened.
Oh my god.
Like, probably mostly at the start of the year. Like, I know a lot of people forgot that Darkest Dungeon came out in 2016 because it was the release was quite early in January, and we felt like it had been around for ages because it had, you know, in early access. People bought into it in early access.
Yeah.
And it didn't really matter that it came out this year. And, like, early access in particular, I think, is just horribly guilty of this. Like, Starbound and Killing Floor 2 are two other examples of stuff that people are like, wait, that's out? And the reason they didn't know it was out is because it had just been languishing in early access for years, and when it finally was released, there was just, like, no fanfare for it at all. That's a big, like, potential downside of that business model, in my opinion. Real easy to miss a release. I really just like the release even matter, because most of the time, it's not a huge update when they go to the release version. Like, it's just, oh, we released. If you were playing it 2 weeks ago in early access, it's basically the same thing. Maybe we updated it, the title screen something, or we changed the icon, but no, it's mostly the same shit.
Yeah, interesting.
I'm trying to remember what was on this list for me.
I mean, it is a category about forgetting things, so
I
that
know.
is understandable.
Man, there's like Overwatch.
Yeah, that is, for us, that's definitely a game we forgot even happened this year because it happened for us in 2015.
Yeah.
Right. That was most of our awards last year.
Yeah, it went to Overwatch, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we'd been playing it for so fucking long and people got so tired of us talking about it, and then we didn't talk about it much when it came out. People got mad at us for not doing it.
I also feel like we should include Hitman in that category as a game that came out that people sort of forgot about because it came out
Because of the release model, yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that a Hitman game should be a major release of any year, you know? But the way that they did it was so underwhelming from a marketing standpoint. I have to wonder how well that game did as a result of that business model.
I have one.
What you got?
Puckin.
Pokken. Oh,
Yeah.
Pokken Tournament?
Yeah. because everybody was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be the next big fighting game."
I guess that's
Feel
true.
it, and
Did people really think that? Because I think they're a little silly if they thought that.
I mean,
In this office.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think about the people who are in your office, and then I kind of understand that.
Oh, I got a good one. Unravel. Unravel came out.
Yeah.
come out this year.
There you go.
Yeah, Unravel came out. Gerard has a box with the little yarn in his
So-
office. It came out this year. Everyone was so hype at E3 last year. It came out, and I don't know. I think Cry is the only one out of any of the people that we talked to who played it.
Mm.
I just don't. And Lord knows I wanted to, but it was off my radar.
I mean, I never really cared about it outside of the fact that the presentation was adorable. It's like,
Right.
I liked the person that made it. It's like, oh, you made it. That's really cool. And the way that it was presented was... And the thing is, that stood out in a show that was, like, full of corporate bullshit, that's full of corporate bullshit every year. And I feel like we remembered it more as a result of that than the actual game itself. I don't think the game really had that much of an impact at all, critically or in terms of sales.
I didn't even know it came out.
That's what I'm saying.
There you go. Like,
Shit, dude.
fucking Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Do you remember that?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's a good one.
That's a game, but that's also because that's a game that I don't know. Was it even any good?
No, I don't know. I'm biased because I was never at the first one, so I don't really have a basis for comparison.
People enjoyed it. It just like it had so little promotion around it. Like it just came out silently, and then people were going, "Wait, did that come out?" Like
Yeah.
it was a bizarre situation from beginning to end, I think.
It was a situation where, like, people have been crying out for a Mirror's Edge sequel for ages, and this was sort of a sequel, but not. And they also went with the whole, we're going to make an open world, which wasn't the way
Mirror's
to go.
Edge got ruined for me when I played the thing at.
Oh my
Like
God.
that.
Yeah. I think Crendor and I had the exact same impression.
Yeah, it was like, hey, check out Mirror's Edge. We're like, okay. And then he just played it for like an hour. And I was like,
Demo kept going. It would
it
not
just
stop.
doesn't end.
And here's the problem: was it wasn't like an hour of really exciting stuff. It was an hour of just like run on these rooftops and go meet this person. Cutscene, but it wasn't like an
Yeah.
exciting cutscene. You weren't doing anything cool. It was just like it kept going, and the
Yeah.
difficulty was like you didn't run properly, so you fell off a building. It's like what? That's stupid. I just want if I'm trained to run on buildings, this shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, it was not a pleasant experience.
Nope.
That Masquerada.
Did that come out?
Yeah, I did. Towards the end of this
came
year.
out, and I was really excited for it to come out, and then it came out, and then it's like it just vanished from my brain.
Masquerada Songs and Shadows. It is like done terribly, I think, in terms of. It came out in September, if you can believe that. The impact it had was just minimal.
Like non-existent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's holy fuck, my god! If the Steam Spy numbers are correct on this, that is a disaster. According to this, it's only sold 3,600 copies on Steam.
Wait, for real?
Yeah. They put up quite. I don't know. There wasn't much marketing behind it, but people were like, oh,
Yeah.
Matt Mercer's voice acting in it, which, to be fair, is not a big draw because Matt Mercer voice acts a shitload. It's like Jennifer Hale's in it. Here's an interesting kind of side point. This might be a good example of why arguing that a big name voice actors don't shift units, like. Because one of their main pieces of marketing was, oh, we have Matt Mercer and Jennifer Hale. Yeah, so do like 300 other games.
Right.
They're very ubiquitous. It was actually one of their features, like fully voiced tale, fully voiced by VO heavyweights like Matt Mercer and Jennifer Hale.
Yeah.
I never buy a game on the basis of Matt Mercer or Jennifer Hale VOing anything because the chances are, if I bought a video game, they're probably in it somewhere.
Honestly, whenever I hear them, it's not about like, oh, can't wait for the new voice actor. It's like all of a sudden, high noon meme followed by, oh, hi, Jennifer Hale. Like it's
It's the same with Steve Blum, isn't it? You know, it's like none of them are bad VOs, but to me, as soon as you hear any of them in a video game, it immediately reminds you that you're playing a video game.
Yep.
Because you're like, oh shit, you're in 200 other things.
You know what it is? It's exactly like in the early 2000s when you watched an anime, you were like, oh, hi, Spike Spiegel. Like, that's exactly what it was. It was like, oh, Steve Bloom's in this. Okay. Like that's, and so now, I mean, now it's a recognizable voice, but you're like beyond that meme moment. But for Matt Mercer, it's High Noon, no matter what.
High Noon forever. Yeah.
Forever you're High Noon. And Jennifer Hale's just the same character in everything she does. And that's what annoys me is that all these voice actors have such incredible range, but they're always cast as the exact same.
No, it's asked to be the same person. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, okay. That sucks.
Yep. Jesus. That's a terrible sales rate for this.
I actually can't believe that. Because playing the demo, it's like a good game. Or at least the demo was good.
I don't think they sent me code for that. I wouldn't I imagine this game got no YouTube presence at all.
I would imagine so.
And I'm totally right on that. I look for Masquerade Songs and Shadows, and it looks like the most viewed video on it is the trailer with Matt Mercer in it on Geek and Sundry's channel, because Matt Mercer's part of Geek and Sundry. And that evidently shifted nothing. Yeah, no one played this. Like, nobody on Twitch, nobody on YouTube touched this with a 10-foot pole. And,
you know what?
You know,
yeah,
traditional media looked at it for 5 minutes and then left it. Didn't shift
here's
it
the problem. So I'm going through a lot of review things, trying to figure out, like, what people thought of it. And every single one of them was like, looks good, sounds good, awesome story, all this stuff. The actual gameplay is the problem. Like,
it doesn't play well.
Yeah, AI is all sort of wonky. No manual saves. So you're like, it's only auto saves in an RPG, which is like, what? Yeah. So that
I don't know if that was the problem though, because like if you look at Metacritic only has 4 reviews for this game, and they're all from fucking nobodies, like Game World Navigator magazine. Who the fuck is that?
Real? This wasn't even Metacritic. Doesn't have reviews from like PC Gamer.
No, I don't know if PC Gamer even reviewed it. RageQuit.gr. Who?
Christ.
RP Gamer, and then Killscreen, which is the website that complains about politics mostly. Like, none of these sites sell games.
Yeah, that is really weird. This is...
Nobody touched this. This completely flew under the radar.
And that's September 30th is when this came out. Like, that is not even recently. That is months ago.
Jesus.
That's weird. That is weird.
Huh. Fuck me.
Yeah, it seemed like they apparently just didn't have a person on their team who was supposed to be the reaching out person.
I don't even know if they had a PR company behind it. I did get code for this. I did get code for this, and it was late as fuck. I got code a full month after this came out.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, according to my my little my software that I use for tracking like all my codes and promo stuff that comes in, the code came in on the 22nd of October. The game came out at the end of September.
Wow.
So they completely missed the relevance window. So I don't know who they had working PR for this game, but evidently they fucked up hard, assuming they had anybody working PR for this game. Didn't shift a damn thing. I'm half tempted to do a video just so I can double their sales without even trying.
I was about to bring up, like, if the 3 of us played this game, what do you think would happen?
I mean, it depends if it's any good, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I guess
like,
that's true.
If there are a lot of problems with the gameplay, it wouldn't change anything.
No, it wouldn't. But I mean, it would at least put the game in front of people, because, I mean, this is just a great example of a title that looks like it had a lot of work put into it that just utterly failed on the marketing front.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything this extreme from something that looks this good.
We definitely found our category winner. Holy shit.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Huh.
Yeah, that's so bizarre that this... And it's a Kickstarter game, too, so you figure at least Kotaku would have jumped on this shit of like, hey, the Kickstarter game's out, we're going to cover
Kotaku UK did. There's a box quote from Kotaku UK The problem is, they did an article saying the game's out. Evidently, nobody gave a fuck.
Really?
Yeah, actually, I just went to the article on Kotaku.co.uk. They have that little widget that got down the bottom about shares and shit? 0 shares. Nobody fucking cared.
Yo,
Nobody.
Don't show this to the voice actor guild or whatever, because shit. That is what this is like. This is like the perfect example that a company could use to be like, no one cares about you as voice actors.
Their VO cost them. The VO for this game will have, under the standard SAG-AFTRA rate, without question, would have cost them more than the profit they made from selling this. Oops.
That's not good. That's not good.
Ooh.
I feel so bad for them.
Yes, like every part of me feels really bad for these guys.
You guys feel free to make a video on it. I'm not fucking about sympathy. If you want me to look at your game, maybe send it to me on release, not 30 days afterwards.
That is weird. They send it to you months afterwards. Well, that
sounds like the launch didn't go as they planned, and then they're just like, let's just send some codes to these big YouTube people.
Actually, that might have been what it is.
Entirely possible.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it was, we didn't sell nearly as much as we wanted to. Let's promote the hell of it with YouTube now.
It's like, yeah, you want to know how you sell things?
YouTube.
Go to
market before release. Not after. Yeah, sure. They shift units. Oh my god. Wow. Cool. Well, that was that. Not so cool, I suppose.
It's on my list to check out now. I'm doing it. I'm gonna go.
Feel free. You feel free. All right. Well, that sort of burns through all of the categories that we'd made initially. So we're in uncharted territory now. We could start making shit up. Crendor.
This is your time.
That means you don't get to sit out anymore. You can throw a category at us.
Shine. Blow us away.
Give us a category, Crendor. Off the cuff.
What you got?
All right, off the cuff. All right. Hold on.
You've had hours to prepare this.
I never thought it would come. All right. Let's go.
I have one if we need it.
All right, you do yours. I'm gonna come up with something.
You, for the sake of show flow, Dodger, feel free.
Game that made you super angry mechanically, but you still loved in the end.
Well, this is gonna be one fun one to type out. That made you super angry mechanically, but fuck you, Dodger. Okay, there we go.
A game where you were like, God, I don't think I can even say this is a good game, but I still love it.
Whew. Hell, if I'd played Bound, that probably would be what I thought of it. Because apparently that's a shit show to play, but really amazing to look at. The thing is, I mostly avoid games like that, usually.
That's true.
That's a hard...
Normally your deal breaker is bad mechanics. So.
Yeah, so that for me is a category I probably have to sit out on.
Last Guardian would be in there for me.
Yeah, that's...
That was a game where I was constantly like, what the fuck are you? Why is the camera doing that? Oh my God. Angry the entire time. And at the end of the game, I was sobbing. Just like, what a great game.
Yeah.
So.
Do you mean just mechanically?
No. Just like you love it, even though you know that something is fundamentally wrong with it.
Oh, the winner for this category is Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15, I'm literally making a video about everything that like I would change in the game because straight up, there's so much that needs to be fixed. Yet I walked away from it like, God damn those boys. I love them so much.
No,
and those boys love each other. They love each other so much. Right? Like I walked away from that just really hype about that game. And then a day later, I'm like, fuck me, there was so much wrong with that game. The moment I beat it, I was like, all right, I love that shit. That was great. But really, when you look at it, it's all over the place, insane. Fuck, Let It Die is another great example. That game is just... But boy, are you just like, yeah, this is great. It's garbage, though.
I have like zero problems with that game so far. I love everything about it.
Oh, God.
I fucking love that game.
Here's the thing. I like it, too. I just think that it's like... just jank. Just super jank. But I love it. I could die repeatedly over and over again and listen to the soundtrack. So,
I'd throw in every year. The WWE game, the official WWE game, is shit. Every single year, it is shit.
Not since N64 have they been good.
There was a good one on PS3 and Xbox 360 called it was WWE Superstars or something, because they went full on arcadey with it, and they're like, we're gonna have these over exaggerated versions of like famous wrestlers, so you can have Andre the Giant wrestle The Rock, wrestling Kane or whatever, and they were like all 12 foot tall, and all of their finishing moves went 30 feet in the air and shit like that. It was more of an arcadey kind of brawler. That was a fucking great game, but no, every time they try and be serious with it, they've got this weird thing where they don't know if they want to be a sports sim game or a we know that it's fake game. They're now in this weird uncanny valley area where they're trying to do both at the same fucking time, and it's weird. Like, the latest one, it's not out for PC yet. I got it on console. I have the 2K16 on PC, and I did a stream of it like a while ago that was a lot of fun, honestly. But the game is shit. There's no doubt about it. The fun thing is playing out the fantasy and kind of changing the storyline yourself. They have sort of ways to do that. They have like something called the universe mode that lets you like set matchups and give people titles. Like you can make your own titles, you can make your own intros, you can make your own characters. The Big JC is still a character in my version of the game. I'm pretty sure he became like television champion at one point. I think you held the women's title at some point.
Someone's got it. It might as well be me.
You can do it. You can do it. They're in this weird space where they're like, yeah, this is real, but not real. And it's really got strange now because they're like, well, you've got to do a variety of things to get a 5-star match from the crowd. And they put the heel and face dynamic in, i.e. like good guy, bad guy, which is a very meta thing. You know, that's not, if you indulge, the whole point of like wrestling, as it were, is the fantasy that wrestling is real, but we all know it's not. We're all in on it. And that's what kind of makes it fun. But then this game is like simultaneously, it's real, but it's not real. You're in on it, but you're not in on it. And it's fucking strange. I don't get it.
I've always said wrestling is its most fun when it's its least real. When there's like... Look,
have you seen...
the old days of wrestling when it was just like Austin spraying people with a beer truck?
All right.
Undertaker coming out of the ground, out of the coffin?
I'm going to tell you one thing you got to go watch.
Yes.
That's entertaining.
You need to go watch. You need to look this up on YouTube after this show. Look up The Final Deletion. And you should know the characters in this. Matt and Jeff Hardy. You remember the Hardy Boys?
Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys, yep. They're still wrestling. They wrestle for a company called TNA now, which is barely even a company anymore. That was almost bought out by Billy Corgan and the Smashing Pumpkins, but now not. It's a lot of weird shit. Matt Hardy went full on fucking insane last year, and filmed they filmed this mostly with drones, because fucking of course they did. They filmed what was less of a wrestling match and more of a movie-style battle with fucking movie soundtrack.
Oh, is this the thing that was just on pay-per-view recently?
That was called Total Nonstop Deletion, which is kind of the continuation of this shit. They've been doing this shit for like the past 6 months, and it's full on fucking insane.
Yes.
They filmed the whole thing in Matt Hardy's mansion in North Carolina. On his grounds, they fucking burn the Hardy Boys symbol in a 100-foot effigy on the fucking lawn. There's fireworks. There's a boat. His 2-year-old son is involved, and he's called King Maxwell.
Yes, I've seen this. They interview him. They interview this little kid.
They interview the kid. The kid had his first match about a week ago in some way. The dilapidated boat has a name now. It's called Skarsgård. Guys die. There's legitimate death. Fireworks involved.
WWE, you've lost me now. I'm in. I would watch this shit all day.
A lot of people have actually been saying this, like that they're like sick of wrestling, but they watch this because it was so fucking stupid. They did a training.
So what's it called?
You need to look up The Final Deletion. That's kind of the start of the whole thing. And I know like the company, I can't remember which like TV station TNA's on now, but they put the whole thing out for free on YouTube and to kind of promote shit. You've got to watch. It's fucking insane. All of the stuff around it. They made the drone a character. It's called Vanguard 1. it projects a holographic Star Wars version of Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy now speaks in a bad South African accent and plays the violin. It's fucked. It's ridiculous.
Just
Oh
go
my
look
God.
at videos of Matt Hardy's son.
King Maxwell. Pop
It's a little
TV is
boy.
the name of it.
It's
yeah.
a little baby boy wrestling.
King Maxwell.
It's so good.
Pretty sure the follow-up of it involved their enemies spitting poison gas at them. Yeah, just you need to just experience this.
It's like a little baby. He's hitting people. Oh,
it's the best and the worst. It's simultaneously the best and the worst. It's fucking terrible and hilarious at the same time. But yeah, that game, like all of the WWE games are shit. Like they're so bad, but if you're into it enough and you start making your own characters and storylines, that's when it becomes fun, and you push through the jank because of that. Like that's every year. I feel like Crendor, you probably got a ton of examples of that when played sports games. Like every year they bring out the same shit for the sports games, and they're always jank as fuck, but people play the hell out of them.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Sometimes they even remove features to only bring them back years later.
What?
Yeah.
Such
They'll remove
as
features and then bring those features back like a few years later and be like, brand new features, guys. It is crazy.
what was the jankest sports game you played this year? Which was the most fucked up one?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Hmm.
I think I only played. There's NBA 2K17. Great game, except for the fact that if you want to play online with your friends,
so except for that major feature, it's fine.
You got to put money into it.
You've got what?
Well,
What
do you mean?
You gotta put money
here's
into
the
it.
thing. It's one of those where it's like you can play online with your friends as a 50 overall rated character, or you drop $20 and your rating's up to like 88.
What?
How does the rating work? What's that all about?
So your rating is basically your stats. So you're like, it's like a scale of 1 to 100. So if your 3-point shooting, for example, is 50 compared to like 90, you're gonna miss more 3-pointers. But the biggest thing with it was like, hey, your agility and your speed and all that stuff is like really low. So you run like you're underwater compared to like the higher rated guys who run like normal humans.
What?
This sounds more like Blood Bowl than a sports game. Like,
well, at least with Blood Bowl, it's the dice that screw you over. This is just like your stats that are given to you. They're like, hey, maybe you'll get them up.
can you not just play like a match where the stats aren't a factor? Like, is there not an option for that? Or is that all the matchmaking is done that way?
Well, just normally when you play like a normal game, you're playing with like the actual players of teams, and so they have like their ratings, and most of the ratings are pretty like good or like
right. That makes sense.
But when you play this mode, where it's like, hey, create your character like an RPG type.
Is it called Ultimate Team or something like that? I heard something.
Ultimate Team. That's the like card. Like you get packs of cards, and then it gives you players based on those cards, and it's a big money thing.
That's Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes for sports. That is.
Yeah, I never played that because I saw it right away. Like, oh yeah, this is dumb. This is just big time money scam 101. But this is like I forgot. It's like My Player.
Okay.
You create a player and then just like level them up, and it's like you can not pay money. It just takes forever, and you get shit on by the people that played money.
I mean, I'd say that doesn't sound good at all, but then again, I've played several mobile games over the past 12 months that kind of do that.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. They do and they don't. But even the worst mobile games, usually they're going to match you with someone who is like as shitty as you, and if you're really good, you'll probably hit the ceiling where you're fighting either people who are as good as you are, or people who've just got more powerful shit than you do, and that's the ceiling you hit until you level that up further. I mean, that's Clash Royale. That's to some degree, Galaxy of Heroes as well is like that. There's a nomination from me, actually. Like that game's business model is fucking terrible. The fact that I still play it, I came back to it. When it first came out, I put a lot of hours and money into it. I was like top 200 PvP, like I was on like the cutting edge of it. And you've got to play that game. Not only do you have to play that game every day to stay on the cutting edge and never quit, but you also, to really be on the edge of it, you've got to have put money into it, because playing it without spending money, there are just too many limitations. Like energy bars and the characters that you can gain access to. And even if you do get access to the good characters, you still have to then make the better versions of those characters. The fucking games that put star systems on their characters and levels these days are pissing me the fuck off so much. Like, oh, cool, I got General Grievous. Oh, he's only a 2-star General Grievous. He's shit compared to a 7-star General Grievous. You want to get a 7-star General Grievous, you got to get 300 more copies of him.
Can I tell you something? At first, I thought you were a crazy person for always talking about this, until yesterday morning when I downloaded Final Fantasy Brave
Exvius. Oh
yeah.
my god.
I downloaded that because I will and am going to get Ariana Grande as a Final Fantasy character and like a train.
That's hilarious.
That will happen. But yeah, when you start playing, they like, here are some rare character cards if you want to get these. I'm like, awesome. So I started like unlocking characters, and I was like, oh shit, I got this character and it's a super rare. And then I realized, oh, I only got the 5-star version, not the 6-star version. So
yeah.
I was like, oh,
that is infuriating. It's the worst part of Clash Royale, and to the point where they have taken fairly big steps to eliminate that aspect where they can from the game. Like, the tournament mode in that game puts everyone at the same level. And some of the modes are now played in tournament mode, which has made the game a shitload better to play with friends. Because, like, to me, like, the best aspect of that game for us is when we were doing, like, an esports event. Secret, everyone. Every esports player and caster and person you know plays Clash Royale secretly. Secretly. You think they're, like, only into super hardcore games? Oh, no. I'm not going to name names because that's not fair, but your world champions, your fucking heroes of competitive gaming, they all play Clash Royale. And we play with each other most of the time, like, during breaks at esports events or during, like, wardrobe or whatever. And it was frustrating because if one of us hadn't spent $2,000, we'd have higher level shit than the other guy. And now, thankfully, that isn't the case. You can just play at the same level. But it's so annoying. It's the worst mechanic because it's totally not rewarding. Like, upgrading a character like that is totally not rewarding because it makes it so transparent that character's nothing but a bunch of fucking stats.
Yeah. That is all it is.
That's not... I don't see how any company thinks that's fun. I mean, I guess it's
Only
just...
your barbarians had the extra 20 hit points. You could have lived a little longer than my barbarians and won the game.
And it can make a difference because that's like that's like one extra hit. You know, that there were certain points in Clash Royale, especially early on, especially when new characters came out, where people were like the quote pro players, which was basically just Chinese guys that shared accounts, like 20 guys that shared accounts and put a bunch of money in. Were like, yeah, in order to be the top, you need a level 3 of this legendary because that kills this in one shot less than something else. Or this level survives this spell, whereas the lower level doesn't. That's a big deal. Less of a deal now, they've balanced around it. But it used to be like, oh, if you had, like, level 13 or 14 minions, they'd survive arrows, which is the main counter to minions. Or if you had Zap at, like, 3 levels higher than the minions, Zap would kill minions for 2 mana instantly, whereas arrows would kill it for 3 mana with a non-instant shot. So you could take Zap, which was more mana efficient and all that shit. But, yeah, the leveling up is totally not a compelling way to do any kind of progression, I think. Like, if you want to play a version of Clash Royale, by the way, that doesn't have any of that shit, play Minion Masters on PC. It's by the company that made Forced and Forced Showdown. They made a Clash clone called Minion Masters Forced to Duel.
Huh.
And it's got none of that. All of the units is units. You just get them. That's it. Like, once you've got the unit, you've got the unit. And it's on PC, and it's got a bunch of other cool shit going on with it. It actually has, and you probably never even heard of this game, and it's barely advertised on fucking Steam. It has over 250,000 players already, according to Steam Spy. It's got fucking tons of people playing this game. Because people actually wanted a version, they like the concept of Clash Royale, but they hate the business model.
Yeah.
We could throw Clash Royale into that list. And Galaxy of Heroes, you know. But
I'm gonna
that's
take
like...
this opportunity
Oh no.
to keep going with sports and go best sports game of the year. Give it up.
None of us
Madden.
play sports games.
Give it up to Madden. Great Madden this year. Very good Madden. So
We'll
normally,
take your word for it,
you
but
know,
go
they
for
throw
it.
in like the same old stuff, but they've actually improved a lot of things, like franchise mode, which is the only mode I play. And then they've added like random draft classes. So like whenever you do like a draft, like the new college players or whatever, they're all randomized. So it's like you got to scout them all and know what you're doing. And before they would
I
just
can see
like
the
make
appeal
them.
of that. Like, I mean, you know, a lot of the in-depth sports stuff, especially like fantasy football, is very much like people call it D&D for nerds, but it's more, I don't know, it's like a lot of stats and like knowledge and research and picks and shit. I wouldn't call it D&D per se.
A lot of
but-
people just use computers for it too, like the hardcore. Like I make my money off this. They all like have computer programs that just statistically be like, this guy's gonna do the best. They just put him in. Yeah, it was actually pretty good Madden this year. They improved enough to where it was better than the other ones. So good job, Madden. Now don't mess it up.
Good job, Madden.
I'm trying to think of what sports games I've even played this year. Like Blood Bowl.
It's Blood
Yeah.
Bowl. The Blood Bowl came out last year.
Did it?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, you could say anyway.
Blood
It's-
Bowl.
It's still great. Still a great game.
I played
Love
the new NFL game, and that
What?
was pretty fun.
A new NFL game.
Yeah. New football game.
Man.
Madden.
Madden. Cool. You already mentioned that then.
God.
Wow.
I don't enjoy modern sports games. If I want to play a sports game or whatever, I would much prefer to play an older one. Like I remember Sensible Soccer was fucking awesome, and the
Oh
old
God,
FIFA
I thought
games.
that you meant you only wanted to play sports games that were about old time sports.
Old timey sports.
If it's like
Lawn
a fencing
bowling.
game,
Lawn
get
bowls.
it outta here.
Yeah.
Stickball 1922.
Ah.
Yeah.
More like it just the way that, because I think it was like technological limitations for the most part, but the way that they used to make sports games, like the NHL game, some of the older NHL games from the 90s, they were all top down, and they were by nature arcadey because I guess they couldn't do anything else. They were fun as fuck.
Yeah, like a lot
Virtua
of hockey
Tennis.
games you play, like
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
you just pick
Virtua.
up and play because it's like you don't even have to know anybody. You're
Well,
just
fucking
like, I know
NBA
them.
Jam, prime example of that. NBA,
Yeah.
all the fucking NBA games up to those were great. I just don't want like playing the modern ones. Fucking Virtua Tennis was super
NFL
enjoyable.
Blitz.
Let's be clear. The best sports game, Blades of Steel on Nintendo Entertainment System, 1987. One of the greatest games ever made.
Tecmo Bowl.
Just saying. Just
That's
saying.
one.
You don't have to be in. The problem with sports games is they eventually were like, maybe we should have real sports players in this. And then you were
Wanna
like,
make it
oh,
super
That's what I enjoy.
I got to know the stats on Dionne Warwick in order to figure this shit out. And
Tell
I
you
can't
what,
do
Dionne
it.
Warwick hasn't been good since 2011 since he broke his hand.
I got to know the
broken
stats on
hamstring.
these people.
Snapped his brain.
Before it was like, all right, my choices are I pick really skinny, fast dude, but he's hard to slow down. Fat guy who's super strong, but he's hard to move, or medium guy that's sort of in the middle, but he's not. He's a jack of all trades, master of none. That's all you had to know back in the day. That's my kind of sports
The
game.
main reason I play Madden is I just play it as like a football simulator type game. So I just play franchise mode, and then people watch me stream it, and they're like,
Yeah.
"When are you gonna play the game?" And I'm like, "I am playing."
This
the
is
game.
the game. I think you made a really good point there that these modern iterations of these sports games are basically different genres to what the older ones were. They're less about the direct control of the players and more about like the management aspect and the sim aspect and all that kind of thing. but they've all sort of been amalgamated into one release, whereas they used to be separate. You remember when they used to, I think, I don't know if NFL did it. Again, I don't follow American football that much, but I know FIFA, a couple of times with the FIFA games, they released FIFA Manager, which was a completely different game.
Oh, yeah. They tried that.
They still release those, don't they?
They don't release, that company doesn't. The Football Manager is a totally separate series.
Oh, okay.
And that's always been a management series. And that's very popular. And there's a couple of those.
Actually tried that with football. They did it with NFL head coach. But then they were like, what if we just took this and put it in the
main game
of Madden?
Yeah, they put them all in the same one. That's the
Yeah.
interesting thing about it, whereas they used to be separate. Which I think you can argue that a couple of different ways. Like, you could argue that's bad because they don't spend as much time on each aspect of it, but you can also argue what a great fucking value proposition that is. You get like 3 games in one.
Yeah. Like, they do have a lot. Like, there's the Ultimate Team thing, which I think is dumb, but a lot of people like it and spending money. But then they also have, like, normal modes, so you just play, like, a game with whoever.
Mhm.
They have, like, the player mode where you can be a player that, like, goes through, like, being an NFL player. Like, wow, I got drafted, now I'm working my way up the ranks, and now I'm whatever.
Oh
And
yeah, I
then-
saw the ad for like the new FIFA game where you the whole like lifestyle aspect of it. That actually interests me. I got to be honest. And they've been putting that in. They put that in NBA, I think last
Yeah,
year.
they put it in,
didn't
like,
they?
everything now.
Yeah, that's
super
I like
popular.
that idea. You know, because
Yeah.
it's like that's a full on like you're playing the fantasy of being a superstar player and
Yeah.
all the things that come along with that.
Yeah.
I think that's super genius and smart. Apparently, everyone who played it was like, I hate this.
I guess it was
No.
shit, but the thing is, they'll probably do it.
Really good idea.
They'll probably do it for 10 more years and get it right eventually, though.
It was actually really fun in NBA, because that's what me and Sam and Gmart were doing, was we were playing the NBA.
I watched you play a bit of that. It did look.
Yeah.
It was entertaining to watch. I don't know if it was entertaining to play.
It is. I mean, the only problem is, like I said, when you go online and people have paid money already, then it's like dumb. But when you're playing it by yourself and kind of like working your way up, it's like a lot more fun.
Yeah, I can see the appeal of that.
Yeah. So that's the one like really good aspect of those games. They have a lot of variety within them for whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Lucio Ball, best sports game of 2016.
Tell you
Uh,
what,
It was just
a
Rocket League.
premier Pro Bowl-esque, high-quality Olympic tier goalie.
Ah, yes.
There's plenty of VR games where you can do that now. It's like be a goalie or shoot hoops or whatever, rather than doing
That's
it
true.
in
You
real
can't
life.
be Lucio while doing it.
Well, you
That's
can
true.
pretend you are.
True.
You can speak.
No.
You can try and speak in that accent and come off as horribly racist. It's all good.
But you're by yourself.
You are. That means nobody knows.
Oh, no, don't do that. It's okay when you're by yourself. Oh, no.
All right, let's do one more category, I guess, before we take a break. I'll throw one. Dodgy, you already threw this in? Yeah, never mind. I thought you hadn't. I was ignoring you. That's unfortunate and rude.
Wow.
Wow. Let's do. I don't think I'm just gonna double check because we've done so many categories. I was like, oh fuck, please tell me I've done this already. Let's talk about multiplayer.
Okay.
We'll go with. It's just interesting multiplayer.
Just
Yeah.
interesting multiplayer?
Interesting.
Yo.
Yeah, let's look for. Let's go for ones that are just a bit different. Not like, oh, I played this the most. Like this is different. This is something new for multiplayer.
I got you. Tricky Towers. That's my favorite one of the year.
Tricky
Tricky
Towers.
Towers?
What is that?
What's that?
Tricky Towers is a multiplayer game where you play as little cute wizards, and it's essentially physics-based Tetris. So you are,
Okay.
it's up to 4 players, and you are creating towers in various forms. There's a speed mode. There's a one where it's under a certain line, fit as many blocks as you can, whatever. But the whole point is you are creating towers Tetris style, but there could be wind, or there could be rain, or there could be different things that happen. Plus you have magic, so you can cast spells and make someone's one of their bricks bigger, or make one of the bricks icy so blocks slide off of it. But because it's physics based, if you stand like one of the long pieces up, if there's nothing there to stop it, the wind will just knock it over. And so you're trying to build up these towers. It's really, really fun. If you can play Tetris, which I know you can, then you can play this game, and it's
That sounds fun.
Looks enjoyable.
It's really fun. I love that game. Out of all the multiplayer games, it's the one I played the most this year. I really, really enjoy it.
No, it was pretty fun. Was Atlas Reactor.
Yeah, Atlas Reactor is super fun.
Yeah, I like Atlas Reactor. And Battle Right was pretty fun too.
Yeah,
We still have not touched that game.
it's great. It's interesting because it's not a new idea at all.
Yeah.
But it's the latest iteration of what could have been super popular, but like has yet to materialize as such. Like, it's almost like the games that tried to do what Battle Right did before Battle Right came along too early. They came along before people really wanted that. And what Battle Right is, if you break it down, is it's every interesting team fight you've ever had in a Dota-style game without the rest of the game. So you're taking one aspect that people apparently really fucking enjoy about this genre and then taking away shit that they might not. And a few years ago, I don't think that was the right time to do that because people were on the League of Legends and Dota train. They still are, of course, but now you've got a base of people that are burned out. Like, they've played a bunch of those games, and they're like, I wish I could... There's one aspect of this that I love, and everything else I fucking could do without.
Yeah.
And so some games like Heroes of the Storm try and deal with that in that way.
Yeah.
Battle Right was like, no, fuck that. Take away everything. Make it... It's all skill. It's just a skill-based arena shooter in arena game in a best of 5 scenario. It's like playing World of Warcraft Battlegrounds PvP without any of the gear and without 5,000 different abilities and without the shitty perspective and particle effects that are hard to see. Like, it's pure skill PvP game. It's great. It's really good.
I like games like The Calling and H1Z1, but they get kind of boring after a while.
Those battle... I guess you'd call the genre battle royal at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. I wish there was like just a really good one because they're like
That was
okay.
finished.
Have you played
Yeah.
Division Survival yet?
Yeah, that too. I don't even care if it was finished, just good. I haven't
Division
played that.
Survival. Have you played that one?
No.
That's probably what you're looking for. Because that is basically finished. Like, it's a mode within the Division. It's the DLC for the Division that is a battle royal.
Yeah, but I don't like the Division.
Yeah, but neither do I. But that mode's great. The Division's terrible. That mode is fun as hell. I've not been into those games for the same reason that you said. Like, that I wish there was one that was done. King of the Kill's doing stupidly well. I mean, they've shifted 3.5 million copies apparently of King of the Kill. I know a few days ago Steam released its top sellers list for 2016, and King of the Kill was either platinum tier, like top, or the one below that. It had shifted fucking insane numbers.
You know what an amazing game is? Ultimate Chicken Horse.
There you go.
A great multiplayer game. That if you have never played it, it's as simple as this. You and your friends are creating a platformer level together, and you need to complete it. But the objective is you complete it, they don't. So you're setting up traps and things to stop them, but also you need to be able to get through it yourself. And so it's a super fun trolley game that I would recommend to literally everyone because it's a good party game. It's straight up a phenomenal party game.
Yeah, I definitely got to give this one to Pokemon Go.
Best multiplayer game.
Yeah,
multiplayer
interesting
game.
multiplayer.
A game that Octo and I played together is called Last Will, and it's basically a sequence of escape rooms.
Interesting.
And so you like go through all of these different escape rooms together, trying to get to the next area and find out what your grandfather wanted. Why his last will was to have you come back to his house where he's laid all kinds of weird puzzles around. That game wound up being really fun.
That does sound interesting.
Mm.
Speaking of escape rooms, shout out to the 6 tickets I have. Dodger, if you want to know this, let me know. To the new Legend of Zelda escape room that's coming to LA in
Oh, shit.
February. Yeah. I
Hell
bought tickets
yeah.
for that. So I'm like, I don't know what that's gonna be, but I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea of escape rooms, that's always good multiplayer, even like real life multiplayer. So
Mm.
oh man, here's the thing. There were a ton of good multiplayer games this year. There were a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of good ones that tried to do something a little bit different instead of it just being, hey, this is 8v8 team deathmatch thing. They try to do a lot of other things, like, I mean, Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes is a great example. of
That
stuff like
was 2014, or was that early
No,
2000?
that was I thought that was late 2015.
late 2015?
No, that came out this year. It's been in, like, early access, like, beta-ish for ages.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn it! It's one of those.
It's one of those. Yeah, one of those that we forgot came out.
This is the problem because because beta technically is just player testing now. It's like they exist way before they exist, and so when people are
Yeah.
like, when did it come out? I couldn't tell you anymore with half the games.
I feel like VR is gonna possibly be the catalyst for some really interesting stuff in 2017.
Yeah,
Stuff that couldn't necessarily be done otherwise.
more
hope so.
stupers, guys. More stupers.
Stupers forever.
Stupers.
I watched Sam's dad play the Until Dawn Stupor, and he was
Oh,
like,
Rush of
"This
Blood?
game's awesome." He loved it.
Telling you, the best thing in the world is getting someone age 55 plus to play VR.
Yeah.
It's super entertaining. You will never be more entertained than watching your parents play VR. Guys, heads up.
Yep, that's true, no doubt. I'm interested in seeing Star Trek to VR. I'm hoping that's going to come out relatively soon.
Yeah.
And
And then
hoping
we
it
can
doesn't
run a
suck.
starship together, guys.
Yay,
God,
which we've been
look.
thinking about doing for ages.
Wahoo.
Something
I'm
like that.
ready. I'm ready. Sign me up. Yeah,
We ain't
I'm
playing it
ready
on
too.
that shit.
I'll
Play
man
it
the
on...
guns.
Oh, you have to bring my Oculus into the office.
Yes, play on something good. Don't play the PlayStation. Ugh.
But I have that here though.
No.
That here.
The
My Oculus is at home.
Wow, tough shit.
I got my Vive. I can man the guns. I got controllers.
Nope.
All right, you're on Vive. You're on PlayStation.
I'm an
You're
Oculus.
on Oculus. I'll
This'll
be on
totally
Samsung
work.
VR. We've
Yeah.
got.
I'll be
I'm
on
sure they're
Google
all
Box.
compatible.
I'll be on the Google Box.
I'll be on Google Box.
Google's cardboard.
lookout.
Oh no.
Whoa.
Captain, I believe we're being approached by an enemy ship.
I'm
Oh,
not
God.
sure because the quality's not high enough.
I'll just be Jordy LaForge and everything will be kind of pixelated anyway.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
Like, Captain,
Can't see shit, Captain.
Captain,
Oh.
everything's just weird shapes, but I have the best vision out of all the crew.
Oh, God. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll make some other shit up for the last 40 minutes of the show. You watch the Corruption Podcast, don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast. Let's finish off our silly little fake award show for the last 40 minutes of the show or so.
Okay.
I love that chat got to hear a little behind the scenes and went nuts. Apparently,
Yeah,
your-
you'll
your-
find there's
your mic
nothing
was on. They
interesting
were
at
like,
all.
Oh!
Yep, it's like you heard keyboard sounds and 2 minutes, 20 seconds. That's it. That's all it is.
Thing
Nothing
they didn't hear all of it.
nothing
Use the
juicy.
visuals.
Ooh.
Like when before we start, TB goes,
I don't at all do that.
yeah, so he does. That's how he starts every episode.
Not
You missed that part.
not interesting.
And then he yells at us.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I
Also,
do that
the part
anyway.
where Dodger's microphone's muted and she tries to talk but can't.
Son of a dick.
Yeah, that's just a
Hi,
staple.
everybody.
Oh,
That's a
God.
staple of the program.
Yeah.
Can we talk about board games? Because they're real games.
Yo,
It's
sure.
been a fucking hell of a year for board
Okay.
games. And I think we've all played some. We should talk about
Yeah.
those, I think. Let's go with like best board games of the year. Let's
Oh
go
my
with some
God.
I'm trying to
nominations for
think
that.
what I've played.
Well, I know board games, but I don't know board games that came out this year.
See, that's what I'm wondering too.
Doesn't matter. No one else knows anyway.
Okay.
It's fine. Which just ones you've played this
Okay.
year that you liked? What you got?
Drunk Quest was fun.
What does that involve then?
Drunk Quest is essentially Munchkin, but the way that you defeat monsters is through a certain number of drinks. and there are different cards inside of the deck that are that add like variables like, oh, well, you actually have to drink twice the number of drinks, or everybody actually has to drink, or you have to drink half the number of drinks and then everybody gets a treasure, like all kinds of stuff like that that you can apply to different monsters to try and either fuck somebody over or like help. It's really fun, and the cards are like this big because they know you're gonna get fucked up. Sam and I, whenever we've played it, we take half drinks. So we take half the number of drinks that they say on there, because I don't know how anybody is supposed to finish that game with the number of drinks that they actually say on there. But there's an expansion for it that's all like pirate and water themed, because it's a drinking game. And fun.
I think it's easy enough to say that Secret Hitler is a clear contender here.
No doubt about that. Yeah.
For being amazing. Codenames is also a very good game we played.
Excellent.
Codenames
like
is
that snake oil one.
Yeah, that's very good as well. You know, those are all like great examples of genres that have quite a few games in them. And like board gaming is quite iterative. Don't know if you've noticed. Like there's a lot of different versions of the same sort of idea. And it's usually the one that either has the slickest rules, that's either easiest to teach, or has the sort of best mechanics, or the one that has the coolest theme that gets people's attention.
Yeah, a really cool one that I think we haven't played, but boy, would I love to, is called Time Stories. It's a time travel game, but it's you versus the deck. And it's like you and your friends, and you're solving puzzles, and you're doing traps, whatever. But because it's time travel, you can go back and do things with previous knowledge to solve it, because you're going through time, which I think is a really cool concept. It's kind of like a more comprehensible version of the movie Primer, for those who are curious. I love that idea. I love the idea of time travel, and it's a mechanic that you can use to your advantage in this game. So we should totally try that out one day.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Did any of you guys mention Captain Sonar yet?
No, but I was about to.
No, but we should, because that's
sick game.
My favorite board game of the year, hands down. For me personally, that shit was so much fun.
Really strong contender for me as well. It was so unique, and it was such a really cool experience. Like that's one of the board games that reminds me most of a video game, I think.
Yep.
Like the fact that everything was real time, that was a big deal. You know, we expect that mostly out of video games. Yeah, I think that a lot of people get the impression of board games just sort of sitting around waiting for other people to take their turn. This is all done as fast as you can do it. And it's a game about communication, listening to the other team to try and figure out where they are, communicating with your team while trying to hide information, taking risks, working together, making sure that everyone's doing the right thing at the right time. There's a ton of stress in that game as well, which makes it a lot of fun. Like, the idea, for those who don't know of Captain Sonar, is that you're two four-man crews for two submarines, and you're supposed to try and sink the other submarine. The problem is you don't know where the other guy is, and you're in a big, like, open water map with some islands and things and obstacles.
Battleship.
It's a better. You're
there's a lot of
absolutely right.
that.
It's a better version of Battleship, and it's super intense and a lot of fun. And I'm telling you, we should one day just have everyone come out here and play that shit. But like,
I agree.
Yes.
Make a fake underwater set.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best thing
That would be
in the world.
amazing.
And just film a bunch of episodes of that shit. That would be killer.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorite games I've ever played, hands down. I could play that all day. It's super fun.
Yeah, it's got really cool moments. Like this, when you have to surface your sub, that's one of the most stressful things. Like, you call out where you are, the other guys are trying to desperately get to you, and you're trying to frantically fix the shit that's wrong with your ship so you can dive again. And in the meantime, the other guys can come get you. And the way that you fix your ship is really awesome. It's like a mini game. The whole game is based around dry erase markers. Like, you each have a sort of a sheet of a sheet which has all the stuff that you can do on it, and you erase it very frequently, and you got a sheet of acetate and all that kind of thing. So fixing the ship involves playing what's basically one of those carnival fair don't touch the wire games. You've got to draw around each section of the submarine and not hit the line. And you've got to do all of that while you know the other sub's coming to kill you. So
Right.
it's super fucking stressful. And as soon as you've done that and you've done it properly, if you fuck it up, you have to start again. and then you get to dive as quickly as possible, and everything's done in real time. You have to listen to the other captain. The other captain has to call out their moves very loudly so the other team can hear.
Everything about you wants to shout and yell because it's very competitive and fast and everything's happening at the same time. But if you do, you're basically giving away all your information.
Giving away information.
I was wondering about that. I was like, isn't the captain having to call out moves just being like, we're gonna turn right, guys?
That's
in case
I mean,
you were still heading for us.
That's necessary. That's completely necessary. That's the way that the game works, because you have a radio operator who's kind of your navigations officer. He's supposed to listen to the other captain, and he's got this transparent acetate where he draws what he thinks the course of the enemy. He draws the enemy course, but he doesn't know where that course is. He knows what the course is because he's heard what the other guy says.
But he
north,
doesn't know where they
east,
started.
north.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he's got to figure that out based on each map, because each map has a set of islands, and obviously you can't go through. You can't go through the island, and you also can't go through your own tail. It's like Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go through something you've already been through. But when you surface, you get to wipe that clean and start it again. But obviously, surfacing tells people where you are.
Yeah, one of the problems that we had to surface a few times for when we were playing was that we had gone to a point where we couldn't go left or right or north.
Shit breaks all the time.
Yeah, we were like, oh, crap. So we had to, like, surface, which if you're on the other team and you hear, all right, well, they can't go to these 3 directions and they have to surface, they have to be either X, Y, or Z.
Well,
so
when you surface, you've got to call out where you are, like, immediately. Yeah. So
that, like, your grid area. You don't call it the exact location.
Yeah. I think it's something like that. I can't quite remember what the rules are for it, but you've definitely got to tell people where you are to some degree. And every time you move, the engineer's got to cross off bits on their engineering pad, and that's when shit starts to break. Like, if you move, basically, if you stay underwater too long, your systems start to break down, and so that limits where you can move. So you're saying, I want to keep going east, and the engineer's like, Captain, we can't fucking do it. If you do that, you're going to break this, and the only way to repair it is to surface. That's where all the stress comes from. That's why it's so fucking fun to play, because everyone's arguing amongst themselves, but they're also trying to work as a team. That's super cool.
When you finally get hit, you're like, oh my god. Or you get a hit, it's like the most joyous.
Yeah, it's like, because we all figured it out. We all worked together to figure out where the fucking opponent was, and we put a torpedo in his ass. It was, that game is amazing. Amazing fun. Very, very cool. But yeah, definitely Secret Hitler, though. Like, there's no doubt. That's it. It's just it's a really good theme, but it's also like a really good reinvention of the mechanics of games that already exist, because like it's based on stuff like Ultimate Werewolf and Resistance and a few other games like that are all social deduction games where it's like there's a traitor and you got to figure out who by their actions. It's just a really good version of that. We played the shit out of it, as you're probably aware. We enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, if anything, I'd say the only setback of Captain Sonar is that it literally requires 8 people.
You can do it with 6.
No less.
You can do it with 6. Like you can have someone. Yeah, you can have someone double up on one roll. I think it's
the first officer is pretty redundant.
You can double up the first officer, but that's about it. But yeah, otherwise you need 6. You're right, and they kind of need to be in the same room as well. So doing it like, I don't know, there could be an online client for it. You could do it over something like Tabletop Sim. It's doable with VoIP. It's tricky though.
I think it'd be interesting if a good fun way to do it would be to separate the 2 teams into 2 rooms and only have the sonar guy with headphones listening to the other room.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting way to do it.
That would be neat. That's doable. Yeah. And if we can figure out a way to do it online with Tabletop Sim or something, we probably will. It would be very hard to present to an audience.
That would be hard, yeah. That would be really difficult.
You got 2 teams talking over each other. You'd have to watch like one side or the other. You probably couldn't watch a combination of both.
Oh, it would just be noise. It'd be people shouting at you. It'd be like most of the old Maker, like, multiplayer videos. Just people shouting at each other.
Oh, God, those were so bad. Yeah, those were good. I mean, there's been a ton of really awesome games that I haven't got around to playing. Like, I haven't played the League of Legends board game yet. And all I know is it's a fucking amazing-looking board game. I have a copy of it. The miniatures are incredible. The stuff that's in the box is some of the highest quality board game shit I've ever seen. But I don't think that I I don't know. I probably won't even get around to playing it. And I certainly can't take it to a fucking show. The thing weighs like 10 pounds at least. It's huge. So no, that probably wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, there's so many. I could spend hours and hours on this. But
What else we got? What else we got?
Categories?
Mm-hmm.
New category? I don't know. What you got? What do you want to throw at us?
Yeah, Crendor. What do you were
Yeah.
you're supposed to come up with a
Game.
category.
Game with the best DLC.
All right. I think we already
Did we
did
do
this.
that?
Yeah,
We
we
did that
already
one.
did this last show. Sorry.
About a game you like that nobody else likes.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Did we do
sure.
that? Or no?
It sounds
think
like
we
we
did
did that, but I
that.
don't think we did. Let me double check that.
Game that I like that nobody else likes.
Yeah.
Oh no, we did. But we did game you didn't agree with your audience on.
Oh shit. Get
Yeah.
shit on Crendor.
Basically known as the Battleborn
Are you
Awards
just
for the
going
most
back
part.
through the old podcasts trying to figure out?
It probably is.
He's like, "Ugh."
About a game you're looking forward to for 2017.
Sure.
Oh shit.
Sure,
All
we can do
right.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really want Witch Hunt to come out.
Witch Hunt? What's that?
Yeah, it's it's basically like prop hunt except a proper game where three people. I think it's 3v3. 3 people are like villagers and 3 people are witches, and the witches turn themselves into things in the town to try and hide. That
All
looks-
right.
Yeah, I could see that being really entertaining. There's an interesting number of games that are coming out that are sort of based on mods. I mean, we've got the whole kind of Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight genre that's starting to blow up now.
I didn't really like Friday the 13th.
I haven't tried it yet. From what it looks better than Dead by Daylight from what I can tell, but I haven't played it yet. Why didn't you like it?
It just felt really generic.
In what way?
If you're a person trying to get away from Jason, he has so many abilities to like kill you. Like he's got an enrage mode, he's got a teleporting ability, he's got really overpowered thing where you can scan to find people. Like he just seems really strong. And then
Well, yeah.
Uh,
You should
what?
be, though.
yeah, but that's the point, is that I'd rather just play him every time.
Is
because
it not fun to play the survivors?
Yeah, it's
just fun to play
not
the
that much
monster?
fun to play the survivors.
Right.
Maybe they
so
just need
it's-
more shit they can do.
Yeah, I think the
Um,
survivors do need some more stuff they can do.
I mean, I felt that
I do
about
like
Dead by
the-
Daylight in both ways. Like in terms of both the killer and the survivor, I just felt like there was it was hide and seek. Like there was nothing to do other than hide and occasionally use an item and stick them on the hook. That was it. I'm like, really, that's
Yeah.
it? That's
Well, even
all
with this one, it's like hiding isn't even that great.
because
like,
of
you
that
can hide
scan. Yeah,
because of the scan. And you can use it so often that it feels broken.
it's weird they'd add that. That
yeah, I
seems
don't
like a
really
bad
know why they
idea.
did that. Like even if the scan was for like 10 seconds and then you didn't get it for another few minutes or something, I'd be like, all right, but it's just you can just toggle it and it just keeps coming on. It's like it's dumb.
a couple other ones that I'm looking forward to are Persona,
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
which they just keep pushing it back. I'm like, better still
Get on with it.
yeah. And assuming that this one comes out, Cuphead.
You know what?
Yeah.
I just wrote that down as something I was excited for.
As well, it's been pushed. I mean,
No.
I'm personally I'm not excited for that game because it's not a genre that I like, but I want to watch somebody play it because I want to see
Yeah.
how cool everything looks in it. It's like, oh, let's see something creative when it comes to the bosses.
Oh, that's a Cox and Crendor right there. That's a Cox and
Oh,
Crendor
yeah.
original comedy genius.
We
Anyway,
already
no.
have great experience playing
Yeah.
it.
I don't know if it's great. I don't. It's we've had enough experience that the devs have literally been like, "Wow, you guys are bad at this."
Like, why don't you try playing it on very, very easy? It might be a little easy. And we're just like, no, we got it.
They got some good player feedback, They know they've got a new difficulty mode just for you that they put in. No doubt.
Yeah.
That's why that was the reason for the delay, actually.
I bet it was. First off, Dad of War is going to be amazing. The new God of War
Yes.
game looks great. If it is as good as that probably fake footage was, we can only hope. I'm really interested in Prey. I can't wait to see what that turns into.
Yes, me too.
I'm
It has,
interested in it. Well, I'm not
it
looking
has that
forward to
Dead
it's a different
Space
matter.
vibe I want so much in the game that we haven't had for a while, so I want that.
When does Pyre come out?
Great
Should
question.
be this year.
This year, hopefully.
I want to play it.
Yeah, that looks great.
What's interesting is that some people have been saying that they don't really like the way that the game looks in terms of the way that it plays. Like, and they're like, oh god, I just wanted another Bastion or I want another Transistor. Personally, I love the way it plays. Like the fact that it's basically a sports game for all intents and purposes. The whole main battle mode is some weird ritualistic sports combat thing. That's great. Like, all of those games have been pretty innovative in terms of what they've done with their combat. It's just people like, oh, isn't this game pretty? Or the guy who's talking is cool, or it's got a great soundtrack. It's like, yeah, but they're also great games. Like, outside of that, they're great games. Pyre looks amazing. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the new South Park game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to that way more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Way more than I thought.
Zelda, please let that be good. The stuff I played, I really enjoyed, but it's one of those things that does the open world hurt the game?
Yeah.
We'll find out. I'm excited for that.
I mean,
Mass Effect, how is that going to be a thing? I have no idea what that game's going to be like.
I don't know if I'm looking forward to that. Like,
Ukulele, come on, give it up for you.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm so excited for ukulele. You don't even know. You don't even understand the amount of excitement that I am for ukulele. You don't.
Damn.
I have played
Red Dead 2,
Banjo-Kazooie.
hopefully by the end of the year. Man, would that be
played
awesome?
Banjo-Tooie. I've played Conker's Bad Fur Day. And I've played the ukulele toy box. Just from playing that ukulele toy box, which they give you like an hour with the game and their little like random thing they created, the controls are amazing. It feels like a Blizzard game. It's so good.
Resident Evil 7 will be fun, even though I still don't know what that has to do with Resident Evil franchise.
I'm not gonna
Horizon
play
Zero
that.
Dawn has always been a blast every time I played it. Even though I don't know shit about it, Vampire looks like it could be cool. The stuff
Might
they
be.
showed seemed awesome.
That Horizon Zero Dawn game.
Horizon Zero Dawn, yeah. Every time I played it, I've come away and been like, I just want to play this redhead and murder robot people. Like,
No, and turn robot people into your friends.
here's the thing: sometimes you got to murder a robot in order
No.
to turn him into a friend.
I refuse.
Westworld?
to me, that game's just
No
like,
murder
oh,
run.
it's another Far Cry-esque kind of thing. It's like, I'm done with
thank God, so
running
far it's
around
not from what
open
I've played.
fields doing side
So far,
objectives.
It's not, but
They'll probably make a Westworld game.
they should make a Westworld in real life. Sign me up. Black Cat, do
Um,
it. Let's do it.
How about halfway through, we'll do Westworld VR. Does that kind of scratch both itches a little bit?
Black Hat.
That would be pretty great, actually.
I know me. I don't need to go to Westworld to know which hat I'd wear. Black.
Yeah, what about that Sea of Thieves game?
Yeah, that
Maybe.
Out
game.
this year?
I
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah, I
Man,
mean, it'll probably be in some form of like early access beta, whatever it is, for a while. I don't know if it'll finish this year. It sounds, it sounds fun, but a lot of those open worlds like multiplayer games lack depth. So I don't know. We'll see how well it's fleshed out.
What's that one chivalry type game?
Oh, For
For
Honor.
Honor.
For
Yeah,
Honor.
For Honor.
Hell yeah. I'm
enjoyed
excited
that.
for that.
That's a game that I have no excitement for because I know I'm terrible at it. Like I have played enough to know I'm not very good at that game. So I'm like, well, God bless those who are skilled enough to play it. I suck. I'm a detriment to your team. If you see me online, it's because I'm like, I'm being forced to play. I'm bad at that game. Terrible
It's so
at it.
fun though. You
It's
can
great.
be
It's great. I
Viking
suck.
and stuff.
Look, I just want to be Fat Samurai with a big stick, and I probably will on release. But just know that if you see an epic maneuver on your team, fucking quit. Just
You're done.
save yourself the time. Log out.
Oh wait, what about that Mirage
Mirage, is that?
Yeah.
Should be out
I
this
think
year.
that's- Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
I
summer
think
or
we're
something.
planning on
Yeah.
having it out
Mirage
this year.
Arcane Warfare.
Yeah.
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 Obviously,
Last
we've
time I
taken
played
a
it, it's gotten
ton
better,
of money
so-
from Torn Banner to promote Chivalry, so just disclosure of that. But and we'll probably take money to promote that as the fucking Mirage
Done.
as well.
Done.
Yeah.
It's
Call me.
I mean, from what I played at PAX some time ago, it still felt as what's the best word to describe it? Like Chivalry felt like it had a lot of weight behind each strike, and killing people was super satisfying in that game as a result. Like Mirage felt the same as that, but it had magic powers and giant boulders that you can drop on people, which is also good too.
No.
Magic.
So I was into that, yeah. I want to play the new BattleTech. What I played of it at PAX a while ago was really promising. Felt really, really good. They seem like they've really figured out the strategic aspect of it, the tactics and making every mech matter, and they have just announced things like Melee and have got a full mercenary campaign in there, so I'm big onto that. That sounds like fun.
Speaking of mechs and shit, Dawn of War 3, I loved what I played of that so far. It is super fun. So
Yeah.
look, if all you need to do, I'm sure it's still on my Twitch somewhere. Just go find that VOD of the last like 10 minutes of the VOD where I nuke an entire like base with a space laser, and it's just pure joy on my face. I've never felt such joy in my life. Apparently, murder does it for me, guys. Apparently, murder does it for me. Not like where I murder you, where I press a
Right.
button and other shit murders you. That's
That.
When does Nino Kuni come out?
You know, Kuni 2
Yeah.
supposedly this year, but I would doubt that. We haven't seen anything from it.
Yeah.
We've only seen a trailer so far.
Yeah. I
Oh,
don't know what's
Detroit!
going on.
Oh, fuck! Does Detroit come out this year?
Who knows? If it does, I certainly want to play it. Am I looking forward to it? I don't know, but I definitely want to play it. I want to find
Looking
out
forward
what
to
it
it.
does.
The most
Looking forward
anyone's
to it.
cared
So
about
excited.
Detroit in a long time.
Ah,
Yeah, fuck you, Detroit.
it's like that. That's sad because it's true.
They just lost to the Packers in the championship game. Very fun
God,
stuff.
what a bunch of boners.
Yeah, they haven't won the division since '93. Classic
Spider-Man
lines.
PS4.
Classic
About that game.
line.
I don't know that you can be excited about it. It's an Insomniac Spider-Man PS4 game. That's literally all you know. You can know nothing else about it. No one does.
Let's remember, by the way, when people got super excited about shit that was coming out in 2016, it ended up being not so fucking good.
Yeah.
Temper one's expectations.
Well, it seems like a lot of AAA things are coming out next year comparative to this year. AAA was kind of a letdown this year, to be honest. So
Yeah.
what the big leagues are going to hand us next year. Hopefully, it won't be shit.
We
There's a
could.
lot of good stuff there.
That's an
There's a
interesting
lot of good
category
IP to
idea
work
you
with.
just came up with there, by the way, Jesse. What about AAA? Like, you know, the really like mainstream AAA stuff that we actually did quite like.
This year,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, I'll kick it off with Watch Dogs 2, even though it's strange because at this point it's almost like it's not a big mainstream game because it didn't sell as well, but it is. It totally is. You know, it's a big
And in
budget.
terms of its production and all of that, it's AAA.
It's a big budget Ubisoft game in 2016. I had a lot of fun with that. Weirdly enough, Ubisoft in 2016 has been releasing a lot of not so big budget or weird stuff. You know, Steep is not. I mean, I guess it's reasonably big budget, but it's not their usual. They've done quite a few different things this year. They didn't put out Assassin's Creed this year, which is probably for the best.
The best AAA title that I can think of that I really, really walked away from, like, fuck that, and I enjoyed that. Uncharted 4. I think Uncharted 4 was the best one I played this year. That I walked away from, like, man, did I enjoy that story? And it was like a good wrap up of the franchise. I mean, I think Doom and
Yeah.
Dark Souls both did well.
They were both extremely good.
Yeah.
XCOM.
I wouldn't call
It's not-
XCOM mainstream AAA,
Right.
really.
No.
I
And that's-
mean, it was fucking phenomenal, no doubt about it, but it's definitely a bit niche.
That's also I have an issue with like Civ 6. I want to say like, yeah, that's game nailed it. But like when I think of trends, is Civ still included in the like big AAA releases?
We should rename the category like what games did we like that were heavily advertised on TV?
Gotcha.
I think that's how you define like.
I don't have cable.
Yeah, but you go to restaurants and bars sometimes. That is the only time I ever see those ads.
You watch YouTube videos, they pop up on there all the time.
Some of them do pop up on YouTube videos, yeah. Call of Duty specifically and Battlefield popped up on
All the time.
on YouTube videos constantly.
What's
You know
interesting?
what I love about TV? The constant Final Fantasy ads in front of sports games.
Really, you saw that?
To this day, one of my favorite things. Yeah, a lot of sports Final Fantasy ads, Final Fantasy and Star Wars ads. I love that they do that. I can't get over it. It's so fun.
Every time I show up to like a bar or pub or whatever, and there's stuff on, and I see a game ad, I think it's either for Battlefield. They did a ton of advertising for Battlefield on TV, and also mobile games. There's been and I'm not talking about fucking Candy Crush and stuff like that. There's a term for it, casual core, I think, is an industry term that's now being used to describe
all the
these...
games Schwarzenegger promotes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, stuff like Game of War, Mobile Strike.
Oh God, Game of War.
I mean,
I didn't know
Clash
people
Royale.
played
is-
Game of War. I thought it was just a thing that advertised and everyone laughed at it.
The thing about Game of War is like stuff like I can understand why people play Clash of Clans, Mobile Strike, and definitely Clash Royale because it's a good game. But Game of War boggles my mind as to why that is as popular as it is because it's barely a video game at all.
Kate Upton, Mariah Carey. I can think of a few others that really helped boost that one. All those ads that were like, "Hey, come play my game.
Come play
Like,
with
"All
me."
right, I'm in." That was the TV version of like a few years ago, and it was like, "Help me, my lord."
Oh yes, boobs, my lord.
Yeah, boobs, my lord. Yeah, it's
Oh,
the exact same thing except it's on TV. now.
God, those were that was
The
incredible
days.
time in our industry, man.
Those were the days.
Yes,
Oh,
the
yeah, I
boobs,
remember
my lord
those.
ads were just incredible. There is
Good
there's
times.
just so much
Those
money
were
being put
simpler
behind
days.
those stuff though.
Mm.
Mobile Strike in particular, like I've seen so much of that. I think it's mostly because I show up to our local sort of gastropub place like later at night because they're open till like 2. So like, oh, well, I'm gonna go eat there at 10, and they'll have sports on, and then the ads in the middle of the sports or whatever are usually for like Mobile Strike or something like that.
Can we take a moment? I know this is it's so tropey, but I don't care because I love it. Every one of those Mobile Strike ads or whatever, it's always like a bunch of people, usually 3 guys, 3 girls, and 3 guys and 2 girls are talking about how they're playing the brand new game, and it's amazing, and how there's this player called like Murderator, and Murderator beats him all the time, and they, man, if I ever find out who Murderator is, and then cue 3rd girl, and she's like, hee hee, and it says Murderator on the screen. Every one of the ads I've seen is like that. It's always like, it's like, oh, if only we knew who that person was.
It's
your
our
best friend,
girlfriend.
and she's a girl. Fuck you.
Typical
Like-
Reaper players.
Have
I love
you've
those.
seen
I
the
think those
awful
ones that I
Hearthstone
love.
ads, right? You've seen the
Oh
absolutely
my god, the
dreadful
Hearthstone ones
Hearthstone
are
ads.
so bad.
Fucking hell.
They're just like in an office, and he's like, "I'm looking to play Hearthstone," and he's like, "I'm a goblin." Whoa! And then he's like, "Well, let's play Hearthstone." And they play, and he's like, "I activate Blue Eyes White Dragon," and he's like, "Oh, jeez, Mister." And then it's like
Yes,
Hearthstone.
Almost like they were trying to make an awful parody of those ads because
Yeah.
Clash of Clans and Clash Royale have done those kind of ads on TV. I mean, fuck, was it Clash of Clans or something like that that did a Super Bowl ad with someone incredibly fucking famous that cost a ton of money? I can't remember who it was. Probably was like Clash of Clans or something like that.
Everyone in chat just tweeted out the Legend 27 is the exact character that is mentioned. I linked the ad. That ad is straight up just like them sitting around the campfire and like playing this game and like, oh, the Legend 27 comes out of
Legend
nowhere
27.
and destroys all my armies. And the girl's like,
Some
I'm the Legend 27. It's so effing funny. I love how tropey that is. I need more of those ads. I'm fine with it.
Oh, and that was
I
for
think those
Game
are
of
great.
War. Fuck, jeez. At least with the other stuff, actually competitive in some way. Those games are just, it literally is about just going and logging and pressing buttons and spending a ton of money. Yeah, it was Liam Neeson that did a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah,
It was
I
like-
remember that.
But do we all remember Crusher 99? Oh, Jesus.
Crusher.
That was a thing.
That was a
Apparently
roller
nobody
coaster
remembers
of
Crusher
emotions watching
99.
That video. That video was like, you're super famous. No, you're nothing. Like,
I mean, it was good up until the whole Crusher 99 thing, I think. That was it actually was very representative of how an esports career can go. It was real. It was super real. Far too real.
Yeah.
I mean, I just learned that from watching like any sport. It's like one year they're like, this guy's great. The next year, like, yeah, it's not good anymore. Get rid of him. Garbage.
Oh dear. Overwatch League stuff will be interesting. Yeah.
Apparently, the Overwatch like competitive scene is like you have to play Lucio and there's like other people that everyone. There's only like 2
Well,
character slots.
look,
that are
y'all.
not
This goes
meta.
back to what we said for the last year about Blizzard. Stop making both competitive and casual games.
Do one
You
of
can't
the
do
other.
it. You can't do it, gang. And they try, and that's why you have like the only competitive characters are like these 4 characters, and then one person can have fun.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
I mean,
That's why Tavern Brawls and everything now, right?
the people who play
Yeah.
the game want competitive. So,
Some of them do.
I don't.
I don't.
Can we
alright,
play the
fine.
game? Checkmate, atheist.
Oh my god.
You said the people play the game. We're players of the game.
Sure.
Yeah, atheists.
Sort of back to the topic for a second at least. I still like the Infinite Warfare campaign. I'll happily say it. And if I had anyone to play with, I've played a little bit of it. The zombies mode in Infinite Warfare is actually really entertaining, and the campaign's kind of neat. The multiplayer's shit, just shit this year. But I had a good few hours of fun with the campaign, and I'm not gonna regret that.
Yeah.
So that was all right.
Yeah. Total War Warhammer was pretty good.
Yeah, that's known as mainstream.
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to think of anything that I mean,
Age of Empires 2 released an expansion.
That is not a mainstream AAA title. I'm
Everybody
sorry.
knows Age of Empires.
Stop it.
Final
Yeah,
Fantasy came
everybody.
out. I don't, but it's so close to the end of the year. I don't know how much it counts. I don't know. I'm literally gonna have to look
This
up.
is a shit category. Let's just move on.
All right, I'm not looking it up now. F it. I was gonna look up
Fucking
game came out in
bollocks.
2016, but whatever. Fuck it.
Did we do a category on whether or not we kickstarted anything this year? Did we talk about that last show?
No,
We
but
did
I can.
talk about it,
It did come up, didn't it?
but
In some
I
way.
literally kickstarted 3 things this year. I know exactly what they were too. One's
I
behind.
did not. I haven't.
What is right behind me?
Oh yeah, it definitely came up because I recall saying I kickstarted something for a jacket, and I got my jacket, and it was good. So I
And
don't know
then
if the game
Jesse showed us his "It's Fine" dog.
Indeed, and it
Yes,
is. It is
it's
fine. It is totally fine.
And how I
Now, that'll be
kickstarted
some
Monster
Kickstarter.
Proms, and that was literally
Yeah.
it, except for a pen from Game Tease. That's it. That's all I've done this year. The Game Tease pen, a dog, and Monster Prom. It's easy. Done.
I
Good
didn't-
category. We did it.
I
Yeah,
didn't Kickstarter anything. Just ukulele that I'm waiting for.
yeah, that'll happen eventually.
Yes. Yes. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. You don't understand how excited I am.
Checkmate.
I
atheist.
don't think anyone ever understands how excited you are.
I'm gonna use
honestly.
that forever, Crendor. I'm letting you know right now. Every time we win an argument, be like, checkmate, atheist. And
I
just,
mean, I practically do that for fun anyway.
Just bring it up.
Let's see here.
All right, here's one to round the show off that'll
Sure.
work. So I'm gonna link you this if you haven't read it already.
No Man's Sky?
No, it's not No Man's
we already
Sky.
covered that multiple times. all the versions.
that joke has been run into the ground or the sky.
The Steam Awards.
All right, which Steam Award winner do you disagree with the most?
Oh my god.
Hmm.
Every single one of them.
Wait, out of all of them?
Out of all of them, you gotta pick one and tell me why. I'll start and give you some time to read them. I disagree with the Test of Time award. There's no fucking way in a million years that CS:GO fucking wins. Sorry, not Test of Time. Just 5 more minutes. Yeah, Test of Time is Skyrim. I can get that. That makes sense.
The just 5 more minutes.
Just
one,
5
though?
more minutes.
I
No.
disagree with that one too.
No. It's not fucking CS:GO. Bear in mind, like, the whole point of that award is, to recognize a game that keeps you playing for just that little bit longer. It's like, just one more turn. Basically, it could have just been called just one more turn. There's no fucking way that CS:GO qualifies more for that than Civilization.
Right.
I mean, come the fuck on. That phrase, just one more turn, was coined as a result of Civilization.
I was gonna say overall is more of just like an accessible one. I would say Terraria is one that more people just generally play and are like, oh, and get kind of lost in.
But let's also, I mean, they have a category, Best Use of Farm Animal, which is literally the Goat Simulator Award. There's nothing else you're
No.
going to put in there.
There's what I disagree with. Ark. Why is Ark there? They don't got farm animals.
That's what I'm saying. It's a non-category that was created just so they could be like, get it, Goat Simulator. It's stupid.
And they
That's
put fucking
stupid.
Blood and Bacon in there, a game which barely sold because they couldn't fit anything else in it.
Yeah.
But no, fuck that. Who says just 5 more minutes of CS:GO? What does 5 more minutes constitute of in CS:GO? A round and a half? Like, no, you don't. You absolutely don't.
Civ should have blown that category out of the water.
No, fuck, yeah,
I don't-
without question.
I do not understand the better, like, I guess I just don't understand these awards because the Better with Friends category, I don't know any of those that are even recent games. I guess Don't Starve Together and Gang Beasts, but that's like, the rest of them are old as shit. Like,
Why did Skyrim win the Test of Time? It just re-released. It's not even withstanding time because it had to re-release itself.
Here's
Apparently,
all you need to know about the Steam audience. Here's all you need to know. Euro Truck Simulator 2 walked away with 2 awards.
It's true.
That's all you need to know about the audience.
It's
As a truck simulator game, it does what it does well.
And it's 2 award worthy. It's that kind of audience on Steam. Just know your audience. And that's
game with trucks and game where you get to pretend you're sitting in trucks.
And then
also
Villain-
game winner is Grand Theft Auto. What? There's
Yeah, the game that supposedly blew everybody's minds was Grand
Was a
Theft Auto.
port of a 2-year-old game that we already knew everything about. Yeah, sure.
There's a million things
That
are
beats
Very
Doom? Right,
we've
okay.
been Playing Tron in Grand Theft Auto, and it's been pretty great.
Dude, that fucking 2 people are on bikes and 2 people are in
Oh yeah.
thing. I was cry laughing. That shit was so funny watching you guys play that.
That was really fun. Like, I'm having more fun playing those like mini games within the game than the actual game.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's what most people are doing, unless you've paid a shit ton of money to be, like, part of the multiplayer these days. The amount of shit that people have to spend in order to get the cool stuff in that Grand Theft Auto Online these days is nuts.
Yeah.
That's assuming
I
your
just-
account doesn't get randomly banned by fucking Rockstar to never come back again.
Or hackers.
Also,
All that.
the category villain most in need of a hug.
Yeah, that's a dumb
Besides,
category.
besides Portal 2, which even then, sure, okay, yeah, we get the joke there. The other 4 are non-things.
2 Far Cry games.
Too far.
I was like, wait,
Two.
do they have the same game on here? Oh no, it's just Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4.
Yeah, like,
Also, but they're both bad nominees, because
Yes.
the whole point is, I guess the whole point of that category
like
being...
a sympathetic villain who's just like, if I just gave that character a hug, boy, would they change their attitude, right?
Which
Yeah.
is not true
Far Cry
for
doesn't
Aiden Min,
apply in
Pagan Min.
either of
To
those.
any of
games.
those.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got you've got definition of
Maybe-
insanity, dude, and then
Maybe
you got
people
Pagan
were
Min.
thinking of it from like a sexual standpoint. They were like, man, I would love to just give you a hug and then maybe wind up touching your butt.
No, if you do,
I
she
hope not.
kills you in the end. That's
I'm
an
just
ending.
saying. Some
And then
people are into that. I don't know.
Why would you ever want to hug that asshole? Dead by Daylight, run from that guy. Literally, they're all terrible choices.
All terrible.
It's a
Bad
category
guy.
that should have, like, I mean, that category in particular should have just been like most interesting villain, because that, and even then, Dead by Daylight certainly doesn't fucking qualify. But then you've got Handsome Jack, Pagan Min, and Definition of Insanity guy, and GLaDOS, which is that's a good category. Here's a question:
Yes.
Oh, they did lose one. Okay. I was just looking to see whether or not Valve lost any of the categories in which its games were nominated. They did.
Oh. Yeah, that's a little conflict of interest, right?
They did lose Test of Time. Team Fortress 2, which is weird because I think Team Fortress 2 is a pretty fucking good
Better
contender for that.
Yeah,
Although
CS:GO?
Skyrim, I mean, fair. That's fair. I would not say fucking Age of Empires 2 HD for the same reason that Crendor said that Skyrim shouldn't be in there because they had to release a remastered edition, so evidently it didn't stand the test of time because they had to fucking remake it. You're probably right on that one. But yeah, I mean, Terraria is a good choice. Team Fortress 2 is a good choice. The original Skyrim, for how fucking long that stuck around before they remastered it, sure, that's fair. I mean, this is just us mostly arguing over a stupid award show and a stupid award show and a stupid award show.
How did
Yeah.
Left 4 Dead 2 win like the best, essentially co-op game?
Oh god, yeah, better with
it's
friends.
I don't know. That's not how I read it. I read it as like, this game is really boring if you're by yourself.
Which is not in any way true. Left 4 Dead 2 has a really big... I mean, it's kind of true, but...
I was going to say, I don't play that game by myself.
I mean, I think
Golf with your
Left 4 Dead
friends
2
has a
still has a
better
good
case.
player base, though, and it's pretty much based on matchmaking. I'm sure there are groups of friends that still play Left 4 Dead 2 together, but I think the most people that still play it online are just matching in randomly. I don't know. I don't think I don't think Left 4 Dead 2 is a good nomination for that category, just because I don't think it makes a lot of difference if you play it with friends or you don't. Is it a game that really benefits from playing with people you know versus people you don't know? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Not necessarily.
I'd rather nominate like Gremlins Inc.
All I'm
Fucking
saying
awesome.
is
Love Gremlins Inc.
Euro Truck 2 awards. That's all you need. All you need to know about who voted for this.
I'm just amused that Euro Truck won in the sit back and relax category versus Abzu. But honestly, it's not a bad pick for that. Let's be honest. A lot of people like playing Euro Truck because it's just not cathartic so much, but it's relaxing for them to just drive a truck around the countryside. They find that fun. Cool. I'm not going to knock them for that. I mean, it's like same reason why a lot of people like playing Elite. It's because just trucking through space. That's relaxing for them.
Trucking through space.
Like how some
through
people like
space.
playing Blood and Bacon for the farm animals.
Yeah, I don't think many people. As it turns out, that apparently did fairly well. It's got 7,000 positive reviews. I actually have never
Whoa.
played Blood and Bacon.
There you go.
That's
we were
all.
wrong. Maybe we're the
Yeah.
wrong ones.
I mean,
You're wrong.
it does look awful. They claim it's a survival horror FPS. It's like, is it? How? I don't know. I'm curious now. It looks pretty terrible, but
Well, apparently it costs $1.
it's the Orion Dino beatdown syndrome then, of we just bought it because we wanted the trading cards.
Probably.
Okay.
Or people are just running into like meme category of like, this game is phenomenal, blood out of 10.
Well, I mean, they actually did that very much with the quotes are from Vanos, Jacksepticeye, and Markiplier. And they're all like 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. It's like, all right, okay. So it is that it got popular off the back of the fact that these channels played it for kids, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like I
Guess
was
that's
curious about it, but it does look like
worse.
absolute dog shit.
I want to end up on people's box art. Like,
I want a
yeah,
few-
I
I want a
beat
few
it to this
boxes.
game once. Jesse.
I got a few of them. I had someone intentionally misquote me, but they did it. They did it with permission though, so that was okay. They emailed me first, like, "We're about to misquote you. Is that okay?" It's like, I don't know. What are you gonna say? It's like, okay, that's hilarious. All right, you can do that.
Word.
Yeah. So like, our final category of the award show was the Steam Awards are shit. Yeah.
Just like us.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
We're bullshit too. Well, at least Doom won something about explosions.
Did.
I
I'll
love
give
that
him
at
that.
award show where we're like, we don't even take this shit seriously. Last
But
category,
your
we're
shit.
shit all over another award.
It was all in good
Welcome,
fun.
Internet.
It was all in good fun. Okay, I guess that wraps us up for the show, folks. Thank you very much for watching the Co-opties, whatever the hell that was. Big thanks to our sponsor today, squarespace.com/cooptional. Go get 10% of your first order. Go make a website about how Bad Blood and Bacon is or whatever. Go make your own award show on the website. That's the thing you can do.
Yeah, and then you can
Yeah.
make fun of us.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then somebody else can make an award show and make fun of you while you make fun of us while we make fun of Steam.
No, but for real, we need an award show for this podcast.
We do.
Based on this podcast.
It's also got to be 4 hours long.
Best guest, Crendor.
No, you're the guy who always loses.
Strongly
You're
disagree.
nominated for every category and
Like
never.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, Crendor.
Aw.
Just
Who was
Leonardo
like-
DiCaprio.
like
Always the
recorded
best actor, but just gets shunned.
He got
he
one
finally win,
finally.
Yeah, and then I'll
Yeah,
get
I
one
understand.
finally.
He had to be assaulted by a bear, but he did.
I'll have to get assaulted by a bear, and then I'll get mine.
Things to do
We can
for your
only
art.
hope. We can only hope.
Life goals.
Don't get our hopes up. Oh my! All right, what's? I mean, I would ask you what's coming up the channels, but remember it's January, so nobody makes YouTube videos in January because the ad revenue sucks. Am I right, guys? Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Lol.
La, 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 la.
Some of us
Lol.
make videos because we like it.
Lol.
Not me.
Nope, need that money.
Everybody says they like making videos. It's not for the money, though. That's what they told me. It can't be a lie.
Uh-huh, yeah. So I totally would. I'd make these for free, guys, but conveniently enough, I don't. Okay. I'm telling you, my strategy this year. Everyone's gonna fucking abandon YouTube in January. That means there's less people to split the YouTube red pot
Yeah,
with.
good. Bye. I can use that money.
Yep,
Thanks.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for leaving,
Hell
gang.
yeah.
it's gonna be good. I reckon there's ways and means. It's also known as Twitch Donation Month. Like suddenly your favorite stars stream 3 times as much Twitch as they usually do.
Guys,
Can't imagine why
twitch.tv/Crendor.
that happened.
I'll be streaming 3 times as much as I regularly do.
And he's already streaming 24 hours a day, so that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm streaming 28.
28
That's
hours.
not 3.
I'm going to Mars and I'm gonna.
We're gonna go orbit space.
For just $2 a month, you could properly educate Eric when it comes to mathematics.
Dude, my light is turning on and off because it's so excited. And I'm orbiting space.
Why is
He's orbiting space? You're outside of space and orbiting around all of space? How's this?
Yeah.
that
Wow.
stranger kid is trying to contact Crendor? I feel like he's like the wrong person.
Oh my
What's he
god.
saying? I don't care
Is that
enough.
you?
I just don't care enough. Just whatever.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing a DM session of my.
Oh yes.
roleplay.
How did that happen?
Well, I
Good
asked
question.
JP.
Yeah.
I said, JP, how'd you like it if I got a one shot where I got to DM something?
JP, let me give you the chance of a lifetime, buddy.
And then he was just like, Jesus, all right. And then he let me do it. So now, Wednesday, Adam's actually going to help me to learn how to not be really bad. So I just be kind of bad. And then it's going to be Dodger and Sam and Jesse and JP. And it's called Die-Kia
Yep.
for multiple reasons. One is there will be death in IKEA. One is you're rolling die in IKEA. And it's a play on words of IKEA. Very fun. It's
Thank
gonna
you
be
for the
great.
explanation of that. We couldn't figure that one out on our own.
So that's tune in for that one. Tune in. Otherwise,
Alright.
I'm making
Tune
YouTube
in.
videos. I'm streaming. Check it all out. Buy my sloth hoodies. Just go
Jesse,
to
what
you
Twitch.tv
coming up?
Crendor, kick the button.
What's
Maybe
coming up?
click it. Kick it.
What's coming up? Jesse.
Hey,
Please.
yeah, we're doing a bunch of fun stuff this week. We're gonna be working on a brand new thing with Final Fantasy 15 because I'm excited that I beat that game, so we're gonna talk about it. And we're gonna try and plow through some things so I can next week start on an amazing new show that is basically the same show everyone else on YouTube does, except mine has a dirty title.
What shows that exactly?
You'll find out next week.
Don't tell us. Don't tell
What?
us.
I don't want to spill the beans early, even though I've mentioned it on this podcast numerous times before. I simply say go back and look at the records. Until then, see you on the channel.
All right, Dodger.
Hi everybody. We finally got the last episodes of Backstage Pass going up after all this time. And the VODs of The Last Guardian because a bunch of you have asked for those. And
Yeah, that's about it for YouTube. If you'd like to watch my streams, I'm at twitch.tv/dexteritybonus. And that's about it.
Cool.
No.
If you haven't already watched the Arbitrary Awards 2016, you should probably do that. Set aside some time. You might be there a while. Alternatively, you can do that magical, amazing thing that nobody seems to have figured out how to do, which is, I don't know, minimize the window and just listen to it while you do other things. Or put it on a second monitor or something like that. I'm always amused by that. It's like, who ever gets the time to watch these videos? Clue, most people don't. They probably just, put it on in the background. It's not that hard concept. But big thanks to those who watched it already. It's already about to pass 500,000 views in 2.5 days, which is fucking
Damn.
amazing.
People love award shows.
Yeah, this looks like it's certainly on track to be our most popular award show ever, so that's great. Big thanks to that. The watch time is insane on that. Really cool. YouTube Red revenue is really good on that as well. Wow. Yeah, talk about shit. That's probably because the ad revenue in January is shit, but we take what we can get. Outside of that, oh, God knows, I don't know what's coming up this week. I'll figure something out. I should probably have a look at that fucking Masquerada, shouldn't I?
Oh, did we convince you?
I don't know. Well, I mean, it's been a
What
while.
if it's great and you're just denying yourself a great gaming experience?
Maybe. I don't know. Check it out. It's worth a look. Yeah.
Closed-mindedness.
I didn't say I was not going to ever play it.
God, I can't believe that you said you are excited
I
about
hate
this game
every
crashing and
last
burning.
one of you. Can't
Very
wait for the
sad.
Gama Sutra editorial about it. I still have 727 unplayed copies of games on my fucking list, for God's sake. There's so much to do there. Oh, Jesus. Ugh. I should eventually get my Watch Dogs 2 video out that basically says all the things I've already said about Watch Dogs 2. What I will be working on this week, which hopefully will fucking finally come out, is my top 10 for 2016, which I never got finished before the end of the year. So that's gonna happen.
There we go.
I'll shoot
Believe
that
me.
one out for you.
Nice.
I might even get around to actually trying Hitman. I should probably do that.
This is like one of those videos where people post like, "Hey guys, I know I've been around for a while, but I'm gonna do a bunch of things,"
And then just never do it.
followed by nothing. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
that moment.
Uh,
This is
sure.
This is that TV moment.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. I was going to do a bunch of like Clash Royale videos for my second channel. I never got around to doing that either.
I'm great at that.
I'm just really busy.
That's why I just don't talk anymore about what I'm gonna end up doing. I'm like,
Yeah, I
things
should
are
stop
almost done. This is what I'm doing. Other than that, I gotta stop, or else people are like, "What happened to that video you promised 9 years ago?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what? Starbound was that? Starbound? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Where's
When are you guys
Skyrim?
gonna play Terraria again?
It'll probably be Terraria. at
Where's
some point.
Skyrim?
We gotta do it. We gotta do it. We
Terraria's
gotta
like
do
got
it.
so many updates at this point. We probably should just do that again anyway.
gotta do it.
I don't know. It'll happen. We're actually just gonna play Edge of Space, which is like, you remember that one? You remember fucking
Yeah.
that one that popped up that had the flying mechanical shark?
I do
Was it-
remember that.
Whatever happened to that game? Was that? Oh, recent reviews mostly negative. Oh dear.
Oh, well, that's what
they
happened to it.
abandoned it, or what's happened with it? Apparently, yes. Oh, it's still according to the. Oh God, it's still. No, they released it, but it's people are saying that it's basically an early access game that came out and then they just fucking abandoned it. That sucks. 'Cause
Yeah,
that game
that
kind of looked
sucks.
fun. What happened to Terraria Otherworld? Yeah, you know that spin-off? What the hell happened to
don't know.
that? Apparently, nothing happened to that. What? I'm looking at their website. There's nothing there other than the initial announcement.
Nothing.
Jesus.
It's the Crendor of video games.
Guys, youtube.com/WoWCrendor.
there.
Gonna be making some non-content over there. Great non-content. The best non-content you've ever seen. I have the best non-content. The best
Thank you.
words.
So much. So much. I have the
Best
best words. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh no. All right, we're done. Thank you very much for watching the Co-optional podcast. Big thanks to our sponsors, squarespace.com/co-optional. Head over there. You've got nothing better to do. Go make a website. It's not like there's any good games out right now. Go make a website instead. Go make a website about bad games. Something, anything. Do that.
If I can make a website, you can make a website.
Indeed, anybody can. That and your website is terrible. Go fix that problem. Go make 2017 a better year.
Yeah.
Guys, make
Yeah.
us a
Be
better
sassy like
YouTube.
Wendy's.
Oh, speaking of which, Wendy spicy chicken sandwich though. Holy shit.
It's all
Be
right.
sassy and spicy like Wendy's. Goodbye, everybody.
Make a better YouTube that actually subs people to your stream.
Dodger
That
is
would
ready
be
to
nice. Yeah, can we not have people randomly unsub from our channel? It's like, we don't know what's going on. Yeah, that's the problem.
So yeah, just make a better
You guys always
YouTube.
aim too high. I am much lower.
I am
Go get you a spicy sandwich from Wendy's.
Guys, I love Wendy's. Wendy's, tweet at me. I love you.
Yo, Wendy's. I'm also a member of the Game Grumps. Tweet at me, please.
You lot have been
use that
easily
shit.
sucked in by savvy social media marketing.
Damn. Arby's, I'll take one of your fancy.
No, you won't.
Sign me
Arby's
up.
is... Look, I
Popeyes-
tell you,
Popeye's chicken.
best Twitter
Oh, shit,
account,
Popeyes.
Popeyes.
Other
Guys,
businesses-
nihilist
Let's
Arby's.
get Popeyes to sponsor us.
Oh my God, yes. Louisiana Fast. I'm in.
I love Louisiana. I love fast. I love your chicken. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's just bring this to an end. Goodbye.